The best way to gain control of the most intelligent, powerful species on the planet would be to completely divide them from the love within themselves. As soon as they are old enough to begin creating an understanding of who they are, force them into a system that teaches them that it is wrong to be yourself if yourself is different from what is accepted as normal. Confuse them about their own biological makeup so that they think that permanently altering their body is the answer to happiness. Require their daily attendance at an institution that makes them focus only on the information that is provided. Make them attend that institution from age 5 until an adult and repeatedly test them on the information so that it becomes their truth. Give them an explanation to everything so that they never have a chance to make their own assumptions of the world. Scold them and humiliate them if they suggest an opinion that opposes that of their authorities. Keep reminding them of how cruel their ancestors were to each other in the past and broadcast how cruel they are to each other in the present. Only show them tragedies on the news so that they live in fear and think the worst of one another. Convince them that their species used to be that of an incognizant wild animal. Make them think that their very existence is so incredibly random that they lack purpose and struggle to make sense of a creator. Tell them that their kind is as smart as they've ever been so that they don't question the integrity of the system that they're in. Provide them idols with artificial beauty and use them as examples of what it is to look perfect so that they are never content with their own appearance and can't help but to compare themselves amongst each other. Create addictive digital platforms that rank them by numbers so that they base their self-worth off of the amount of followers that they have and are never satisfied. Build a society around them in which those who have money benefit and those who don't fail. Make money their main focus, but make it so difficult to accumulate that they remain in a place of constant struggle, forced to dedicate the majority of their time to the system that made it this way. Tax them in every way possible, but tell them that it's for their own benefit so that they don't think twice about paying it. Take so much of their time and energy throughout the week, but give them 2 days to themselves so that they feel a sense of reward and don't fight back. Promote the consumption of poison in every social setting so that even on those 2 days, they remain disconnected from themselves and each other. Pump their food with excess sugars and addictive chemicals, but make it cheap, advertised, and easily accessible so that they never stop consuming. When their food makes them ill, prescribe them medication that only masks the symptoms so that they become dependent on it every day. Charge them so much money for healthcare so that they stay in a constant loop of consuming, medicating, and working. Cause chaos amongst them and blame it on a group of their own so that they form judgmental stereotypes. Turn them against each other in so many ways so that even if they were to connect on one, they would still be divided by another.
Excuse us, sir. My colleague and I are here to conduct an inquiry. May we ask you a few questions?
Yes, please, Master. I'm at your disposal.
You're here, as it were, to be sold, no?
Of course.
We are truly appalled, sir. We can imagine how you must feel, your fear, your indignation.
On the contrary, why, in my career, I have always been very lucky. I've had masters, each one more humane than the next.
But haven't you ever been treated brutally, whipped, beaten, tortured?
In our profession, what counts is to do one's duty. Don't listen to all those stories about the various Uncle Toms and Simon Legrees and so on. It's all nonsense. See, the truth is that we are valuable merchandise. And have you seen the prices in the market? I know it. I cost more than $2,000. And can you imagine a fool, excuse the expression, a fool of a master who would whip and maim a capital of over $2,000? No! If a slave is a respectable slave, his master treats him with kid gloves because it takes only one scar, one single scar, and plop, down shoots the price. You know, the client is suspicious.
But, sir, surely you must realize the injustice of your situation, the violation of your liberty, your freedom.
If you speak of freedom, sir, I must tell you something. I am a worker, and workers are not free and never will be. If you speak of my condition, I will quickly say, I don't pay taxes. I'm housed, fed, and clothed by my employer. I work a short week. My medical care is free. I get a Christmas bonus and retirement or permanent disability at the expense of my employer, without mentioning this, that in time of war, I am not even obligated to military service.
Oh, but if you're not even paid.
You know, I see the ones which you gentlemen call freed slaves or liberated workers out from morning till night, working like horses to make ends meet. And they never do. So, just tell me then, what's the difference between us slaves and liberated workers? Huh?
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Who? Me?
Yes, you. You're a dishonor to your race.
Waving that camera around, will you?
All right.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. Yo, what up, my good brother MG2? MG2 in the building. Shouts out to MG2. My brother Bakari in the building. Shouts out to my brother Bakari. Yeah, it sounds like the instruction manual for black folk. Yeah, and it worked too. It sounded like it worked. You know, and I probably shouldn't have even gone live. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be quick because I know my brother Bakari want to go on here. I just wanted to show something because I was supposed to do the Black History thing, but I will do that when I get more time and the right energy to do it. And we up to the 1811 Louisiana Rebellion. You know what I'm saying? So I guess you can check that out ahead of time so you could be ahead of class, you know what I'm saying? But that's around the time frame that we in. So that's some of the stuff that we're gonna discuss, right? But I was just watching something and I really don't have an opinion on it. It's just that the thing was very entertaining to me for some reason, you know what I'm saying? So y'all will have to bear with me. And if y'all do have an opinion on it, then you can definitely do that. Damn, hold on. Something messed up here. Give me a second because I lost everything on here. Yo, what up, Shanique? My bad. I had messed up. I had lost everything that was like on the screen for a second, So let me go into, and before I do that, right, I'm gonna just show you this real quick, because there's nothing to it, right? So this is kind of what we go say, but like, yo, I was talking about Kyrie Irving before, so he back tweeting again. He might get in trouble for this again too. So he was talking about black people in slavery, how they stole scientists, doctors, architects, teachers, and then made them slaves, So y'all already know the whole thing with Kyrie Irving, right? So that's what he tweeted out. But now I guess they're gonna start getting on him again. Or I'm not sure, you know what I'm saying? So he's been busy on Instagram talking about the issues that they gave him. So I guess that buck breaking wasn't enough. They might have to go harder, you know what I'm saying? But let me show y'all what I wanted to talk about. And like I said, I'm gonna go through it quick. And if you want to have an opinion about it, you can come on here. Now, like I said, I don't have an opinion about this in particular. I was just kind of tripping at the interviews that was going on because he was kind of pissing them off. But then the stuff that he was saying was like, he was tripping a whole lot. But, I just found it entertaining, right? So y'all bear with me, right? And these not long, all right?
Thank
Brother
you.
Sebastian, Brother Wyatt. Yes, indeed.
They're doing well. Thank you.
All right,
Say it, and I salute your two precious gifts from heaven.
Thank
Brother
you.
Sebastian, Brother Wyatt. Yes, indeed.
They're doing well. Thank you. I want to ask you,
the two that came forth from the female host.
Had the pamphlet Common Sense, and my God, they had the audacity to rename that after the great Thomas Paine's Revolution already. Are fundamental focus on what I'm concerned about, which is the plight of poor and working people trying to come to terms with the cop cities. Why do the critiques of the cop cities trying to come to terms with striking workers, be they in Hollywood, be they in Amazon, be they at UPS, coming to terms with the eco side, with the fossil fuel companies, steel, corporate greed running out of control. We're at a moment now, my brother, where if we don't come to terms with...
I don't know what you mean, my brother. He's a funny dude, yo. This Cornell West. And people say you cannot question his intelligence and stuff like that. I wouldn't question his education, you know what I'm saying? And he knows the Black history. You know, but the thing I would say to you, and you know, like I said to Bukhari earlier, you know, and it's your opinion. Now, he may be the only one that's going to say something for Black people or do something for Black people, but it's going to be along with everybody else, as you can see. You know, he's for the oppressed peoples of the world. But I was just kind of tripping
Now, my
out this.
brother, where if we don't come to terms with this massive callousness and indifference to the plight of poor and working people, we're going to lose everything. Planet, democracy, qualitative relations with each other. That's how life and death,
We lost the planet.
like our situation is, my brother. Very much so.
You know the concern, certainly. I mean, you've been asked this question a million times from a lot of Democrats and Republicans against Trump that a third-party candidate like yourself could siphon votes away from President Biden. David Axelrod recently tweeted saying in 2016, the Green Party played an outside role in the tipping the election to Donald Trump. Now with Cornel West as their likely nominee, they could easily do it again. Risky business. Now, I know you said you don't believe Jill Stein made that big a difference in the vote count in 2016.
Now they're saying, Negro, you do know you're getting in the way of good old Joe Biden, right? If he doesn't fall down the stairs or something and die before then. But they're saying, Negro, you do know that you're messing us up here. You know what I'm saying? So what are you going to do?
In Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, her votes did exceed Trump's margin over Clinton. So how do you answer that critique that you will be siphoning votes away and potentially leading to a Trump victory?
Oh, man, now it's like commercials. Maybe it had commercials before. I don't know. But it is what it is.
Well, part of it is that nearly 40% of our precious citizens every 2 and 4 years decide not to vote at all. And we know that the so-called spoilers, which is a category you can imagine I don't accept at all, over 2/3 of those who vote, it could be a Gary Johnson, a Sister Jill Stein, Brother Ralph Nader, whoever, people say they would never vote for the two parties. And I can understand those two parties become too corrupt, their politicians are too conformist, too many of the politicians themselves are just cowardly, will just say anything. What about truth? What about justice? Truth and justice bigger than all of us, bigger than every party, every race, every person. If you're concerned about truth and justice, then you can't be cowardly, complacent, or conformist.
Now, the question I would ask him, right, is define justice, right? If an alligator eats a baby goat, is that justice, or does the, you know, whatever have the right to defend themselves? Like, now define justice. And then I would encourage everybody to define justice for themselves, right? Because justice starts in La Casa, Holmes. You know what I'm saying?
It's every person. If you're concerned about truth and justice, then you can't be cowardly, complacent, or conformist. And especially if you look at the world through the lens of those who are incarcerated, those who are in ghettos and hoods and barrios. Brother David Axelrod, he looks at the world through the lens of the establishment. Well, of course, from the lens of the establishment, he's concerned about reproducing the establishment. My God, my God. There's no doubt about that. In the 1850s, both parties supported slavery.
But I think he's
whoa, Negro. Don't you go there talking about that now. How everybody supported it and made money off of it. Hold on, Negro.
With the Labor Party.
I think he seems more, though, I mean, you know David Axelrod, he seems more interested in preventing former President Trump from getting reelected, more than, I'd say, recreating the establishment.
Yes. No? Well, no, I'm talking about the Democratic Party establishment, though, brother.
Oh, okay.
Listen, brother, brother, cool. Y'all probably did give him and that's another interesting thing about how the liberals sort of react. You know what I'm saying? The abolitionists, y'all probably have given him an old cookout pass from probably like 2017 or something. I'm pretty sure he's been to a cookout or two because of y'all.
And I'd say recreating the establishment.
Yes. No? Well, no, I'm talking about the Democratic Party establishment, though, brother.
Oh, okay.
The Axelrod, you see what I mean? You would agree with, he's very much part of the Democratic Party establishment.
Well, his interest. Anyway, I don't want to speak for him, but you criticize President.
Absolutely.
You criticized President Biden, saying recently that he contributed, in your words, I'm quoting, contributed to a crime against humanity when he became the architect of the mass incarceration regime in the 1990s. You're referring to the 1994 Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act that then Senator Biden sponsored. You also said it's, quote, very clear that his cognitive powers are in decline. You have had a remarkable career. You've championed those whose voices have been silenced all your life. We've had you on the program a ton of times talking about that. You've never run a large bureaucracy or had any major governmental leadership role. Isn't that important to actually governing as president?
Oh, absolutely. I'd have to bring in people who are experienced, but the important thing is your vision and the lens through which you view the world. Policy is something that can be worked out in light of vision. If your vision is one of militarism abroad, then you're going to be preoccupied with wars and militaristic adventures. We've known Biden's got a long history. I don't think he's actually seen a war that he hadn't supported. I think the invasion
He hasn't seen the war. He hasn't supported.
and militaristic adventures. We've known Biden's got a long history. I don't think he's actually seen a war that he hadn't supported. I think the invasion and occupation of Iraq was a crime against humanity. How many precious hundreds of thousands of Iraqis were killed based on a lie? Well, Biden was running interference in that regard. I think mass incarceration in the United States in the last 40 years is a crime against humanity. I've taught in prisons for 41 years. I've stayed in contact with the rich humanity of my brothers and sisters who have been incarcerated. And many have done things they shouldn't have done. Many are there because they're innocent. But the important thing is, they are sites of barbarity. We ought to be ashamed to live in a country when you look at the conditions of our brothers and sisters who are incarcerated. And it's not just the 1994 crime bill. You can go back to the Biden Thernstrom. He was a Strom Thernstrom bills of 84 and 86 and 91 and then 94.
God damn, it was like 81, 87, like damn. You know. But that's what the Democrat side does.
Bills of 84 and 86 and 91 and then 94. You see what I mean? So it's just a matter of trying to be truthful. I'm not trying to trash Brother Biden. I really not. I'm trying
Brother Biden. Come on now. Brother Biden. Only a large fraction of a certain group of brothers, the brothers for real, is affected the most. But see, like that's the question. He may help black folk, but everybody is black probably though. So what are you gonna do, right?
trash Brother Biden. I really not. I'm trying to make him accountable for his actions in light of how the wretched of the earth are treated in this nation and around the world. And that's true for any politician, be it Obama, Biden, Clinton, Bush, Trump. All of them have to be measured by the same standard of truth and justice.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. But he would probably be known as an abolitionist. But Thomas Jefferson was an abolitionist, good old TJ, because we love those abolitionists. But you get you try to cross John Brown if you want to, and start talking about getting off code with John Brown if you want to. You know what I'm saying? See what John Brown do to you.
Bush, Trump. All of them have to be measured by the same standard of truth and justice.
I want to ask you about the war in Ukraine, because I saw you tweeted out, you said NATO is an expanding instrument of U.S. global power that provoked Russia into a criminal invasion and occupation of Ukraine. You said this proxy war between the American empire and the Russian Federation could lead to World War III. We must stop the war and war crimes, including cluster bombs used by all parties, and embark on diplomatic talks that should lead to a just peace. You believe... I mean, how are you going to bring...
Oh, yeah, just leave out W.E. Du Bois, what he wrote. But I'm going to let them... Y'all can read it on there.
All sides of the table on Ukraine. And do you really believe that NATO provoked Russia into invading Ukraine?
Well, when Russia was promised that NATO would not move 1 inch, and then a few years later, you got 13 former Soviet...
But wait a minute. No, but you're talking about in 1990, there was an agreement signed that NATO would not move into East Germany, but actually nothing was said about further east. And it was at the very least it was ambiguous. You can there's an argument.
It was formal and informal talks, but I mean the great George
He had to get on code. The white boy had to get on code here. You know what I'm saying? He probably gave one of those gay people Cornel West is speaking up for.
The finest minds of the establishment when it comes to foreign affairs. He said he doesn't understand why NATO needs to exist any longer because it's defensive. Well, the collapse of the Soviet Empire meant, in fact, you no longer even needed NATO. Europe could come up with its own security, but
it doesn't seem like that because
as an arm of the American empire. That's the challenge.
You don't believe, though, that the people of Ukraine right now need NATO to defend against Russian aggression?
Well, the people of Ukraine right now who are suffering, and I'm in deep solidarity with their suffering, they are being caught between this proxy war between the American empire and the Russian Federation. Federation. Now,
But
What
that's not really
what they
true. I mean,
need is
but Dr.
It's
West,
kind
I
of
mean,
true.
it wasn't
yes.
early on. I mean, you're far more educated than I am, but early on, it was
Far
Poland,
more.
Czechoslovakia, and Hungary who wanted to join NATO. Warsaw Pact countries, suddenly free, did not want to be under the yoke of the former Soviet Union any longer, and they are the ones who applied to join NATO. It wasn't the U.S. pushing these countries in an expansion play. It was these countries suddenly free, the people in those countries saying, we want to be in the EU. NATO is the fastest way. It's a kind of a stepping stone in the EU. We want that.
The pan-Europeanism. They want to be in the pan-European crowd.
In the EU, NATO is the fastest way. It's a kind of a stepping stone in the EU. We want that. We want to turn to the West. No, would you have denied Hungary?
Oh yeah, Skynet is definitely going to go live for sure. It was probably already live, but
Slovakia, the choice?
Well, I mean, one, I would have followed George Kennan. I would have abolished NATO right after the collapse of the Soviet Empire, and I would have tried to welcome Russia into the nation, the community of nations, rather than trying to push them against the wall. We know that their system of repression and domination is one in which they're going to feel as if their backs are against the wall. And I think you would probably agree that if Russia or China had missiles in Canada or Mexico targeting Washington, D.C., U.S. government would blow them to smithereens. That's how empires behave. You've read the history. I know.
That's how empires behave. Like, if you are threatening or have someone that can threaten my nation, you gonna blow them to smithereens. That's how nations behave. If, you know what I'm saying, we ever wanted to recognize that point, you know.
Targeting Washington, D.C., U.S. government would blow them to smithereens. That's how empires behave. You've read the history. I know the history. We're critical of imperial activity, no matter who it is, American, Russian, and what have you. But America's the most powerful empire in the world, in the history of the world, my brother. And it seems to me, if we can't dismantle that empire in order to empower poor and working people here and abroad, we're going to lose our democracy. It's almost like Rome, you know, it was Cato the Younger and Cicero against Julius Caesar.
Right, but there's
wait. You can't talk negative about Rome and Greece and all that disgusting stuff that they swear to, you know what I'm saying? But no. Nobody ever had an idea before Greece and Rome, Negro, so watch your damn mouth.
Your empire begins to take over your democratic possibilities.
I just spoke to the foreign minister of Ukraine. We're going to have that interview.
You don't go at no
I think if you said to him, you're standing with the people of Ukraine in solidarity, and you're saying that they are just victims in this proxy war, he would say, you're out of your mind. I mean, they are thankful. They are thankful for NATO. They are thankful for the U.S. You can call it the American empire. But I mean, they were.
You know how they teaching you that slavery was a benefit? That's what he's saying. He was like, "Thank God for these white dudes colonizing everybody, because Lord have mercy, where we be?" Just like they telling you that you better thank them and how beneficial slavery was for you, because you be in Africa praying to a tree right now. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Mind. I mean, they are thankful. They are thankful for NATO. They are thankful for the U.S. You can call it the American empire, but I mean, they are thankful for all these countries rallying to their side. I mean, I've been there. You've probably been there as well. I mean, it's a horrible. It's an invasion. I mean, of killing civilians in cities.
Oh no, it is a criminal invasion. I'm not denying it's a criminal invasion, but what I'm saying is, to go back to the
why don't white crime, Anderson? Why don't white crime, Anderson?
Talks. You go back to March. 1 month after the war began, my brother, I'm calling for ceasefire. I don't want to see the suffering.
You can call for ceasefire. Vladimir Putin isn't really listening to what you say or I say or anybody says. I mean, he's doing what he wants to do, just like he slaughtered. I mean, you saw what he did to Grozny. You saw what he did to Grozny in the 90s. I mean, he flattened that city. Civilians were trapped in that city. No, the world didn't come to the rescue of Grozny. He did exactly what he wanted to do. I mean, unchecked, he will slaughter people.
Well, I mean, unchecked, he will slaughter folk. Unchecked, what we did in Iraq was slaughtering people. Unchecked, what we've done in other places. Unchecked.
Whoa. Now, unchecked, anyone European will slaughter whales if they get an opportunity, right? Just for the sell blubber. All right, we understand that anyone left unchecked will do this. right? So you're right. Putin left unchecked probably will destroy the world. Just like America left unchecked, will destroy the world. But hold on, we can't do that, right?
He will slaughter folk unchecked. What we did in Iraq was slaughtering people unchecked. What we've done in other places unchecked.
But sir,
variety
Dr.
of
West,
other empires
Dr.
do
West,
that.
do
Nation
you really,
states do that though.
no,
brother,
I
and they're
understand.
wrong. And when they're wrong, you have to pull up. You have to point it out.
Look, again, I respect you. You know, I love you. But I do think it's inappropriate to compare the Russian bombing of Grozny and what we witnessed there with the war in Iraq. I mean, to say that innocents were. I mean,
yeah, good point, Shanique. What up, Miss Vita? You know, he's saying right. So like you can't compare with somebody. This is us now blowing people up, right? When we blow people up, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? Now, like when the white boy is saying he's a white nationalist. They are white nationalists, right? No matter, they argue about how their nation should run, how they think it should run better. You feel me? Right? That makes you a nationalist, right? But you know, they all are white nationalists.
And what we witnessed there with the war in Iraq. I mean, to say that innocents are killed. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, the horrible things happen.
Half a million Iraqis killed, my brother.
He was like, what?
Well, 500,000.
Yeah, listen, I was there. I mean, I was there. I was there with troops. I certainly understand. I also saw a lot of Americans getting killed, and I saw, you know, the horrors of Saddam Hussein. I'm just saying, I don't think it's accurate to compare the pummeling of a city by Russian artillery with civilians inside, pummeling every single day with the intention of just destroying and flattening a city, with actions the U.S. took. I mean, I don't know. Look, you know, the wars.
Yeah, what up, Cassandra? So, like, yeah, when we go around blowing people up, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? We're doing it in the name of us. But when you blow stuff up, now you're a terrorist, right? We got to stop you because you off code.
A city with actions the U.S. took. I mean, I don't know. Look, you know, the wars, horrible things happen in wars, and it's horrible.
War, that's absolutely.
And he said the word.
But I mean, you know, and I know any comparative analysis of levels of barbarity and cruelty is going to lend itself to this ugly algebra of blood that we don't
which white person killed more white people?
Saying, if you can't,
he basically said you don't want to do a body count right now. Like, you don't want to name which white dictator killed more people. I don't know. You know, the Leopold. I don't know. We can debate all day about who. You don't want to do a body count, Anderson Cooper, or my brother, as he would say.
Itself to this ugly algebra of blood that we don't want to get into. But all I'm saying is you can't just jump into a situation where people are being treated barbarically. There's no doubt that Ukrainian people are being treated in a barbaric way. That's that murderous way. There's no doubt about that. But the context is one in which that did not have to be if the expansion of NATO, and NATO is an arm of the American global power network.
But what you're saying though in Ukraine is that the Ukrainians, they're just going to have to compromise and give up their land because they're just in the wrong place.
I'm not saying that.
Well,
that was just saying. You tried to hit them with that's what people do when they lose an argument. I do that just to troll people because they fall for it every time too. But he didn't fall for it here. But he's like, oh, so what you're trying to, because it's, you know, you're trying to sum up somebody where, and a lot of times that's what y'all really be saying. Y'all just don't know it. But in this case, he tried to put words in his mouth like, oh yeah, well, you're saying they should just give up their land. But also listen to that, right? Are you saying that they should just, so like, listen to that advice for yourself. Should you just give up your stuff or whatever? Or is you ready to fight a war to do that? You know what I'm saying? Have fake movies of like kids walking down the street, you know what I'm saying, like looking for their parents or something like they do in Ukraine, right? But ours is real. So
you said there have to be hard compromises. You said there have to be compromises on all sides, and you know, compromise for Ukraine means Crimea. It means whole parts of their east. Is that fair?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I want a just peace for my Ukrainian brothers and sisters, and I don't want World War III. I don't want World War III. The way that we're moving now, we got 3,000. advisors, well, we heard that in Vietnam, were on the way to possible nuclear exchange. How?
All right. So, and that was the end, right? So, yeah, I feel y'all. That's what's tripping me out too. Like, what I'm saying, everybody. He was like, my brother Joe Biden. The hell. Yeah, I know. That's the interesting thing, right? And this is good old Cornel West. Like I said, I don't have an opinion about any of this except for I was just tripping off of these interviews. You know what I'm saying? Let me play some of this, right?
Brought up Jill Stein because the counter argument here. Jill Stein's actually helping you with this run. And 7 years ago, when she was the Green Party candidate, who were worried you'll tip the election for Donald Trump.
When I just say that, it's simply not true. I mean, I have great respect. I have great respect for my dear brother Ralph Nader. I have great respect for Sister Jill Stein. I have great respect for my dear brother Jamu Baraka. Meaning what? Meaning that the Democratic Party is so unsocratic as well as undemocratic. I'm still upset because they didn't treat my dear brother Bernie right twice. But they're unsocratic. Examine yourself. Examine why it is you did not speak to the issues of poor and working people, and therefore you're lost. If you'd rather lose than really change and examine yourself, then you're going to have third parties popping up all over the place because people are suffering out here. You got mass incarceration. You've got ghettos and hoods and barrios and reservations. You got 60% of our fellow citizens barely making it every month. And what's the discourse? We want to win the next election and we're concerned about the spoiler. Hey, I thought you were concerned about public life. I thought you were concerned about the quality of the life of citizens. And I speak as a Christian, which is the least of these, the 25th chapter of Matthew, the orphans, the widow, the fatherless, the motherless, the marginalized, the subjugated. That's my legacy. That's the legacy.
Oppressed peoples of the world. Now, see, this is the thing, right? I think that he will do something for Black people. It's just that he would do something for everybody. You feel me? I don't think that he would intentionally, like everybody else would intentionally leaves Black people out, right? And like I said, I don't got no opinion about it. It's just my thing because they was getting kind of mad with him. You know what I'm saying? Let me see.
That I attempt to enact in my own fallible way as a cracked vessel.
So,
explanation for why people.
So this is like them telling you that the economy. I know my brother MD2 is mentioning it, but saying
Effectively, it is good. It's hard to imagine it could be much better. It truly is. I mean, yes, inflation could be lower, but otherwise, you saw those poll numbers. People think it's bad. I don't have an explanation for why people think it's bad because objectively,
it is like a carton of eggs, like $42. That's why people think it's bad.
It's good. It's hard to imagine it could be much better. It truly is. I mean, yes, inflation could be lower, but unemployment could hardly be lower. The economy, our economy is growing. Our GDP is growing. Interest rates, were
states. What do? Do you ultimately back President Biden like you did in 2020? It comes down to the wire. You're polling at say 2 or 3% in key battleground states.
This is the question. Like now, I get what y'all saying, but they gotta. She's like trying to like give him the early N-word wake up call. You know what I'm saying? And saying like, like now if it start getting down to you and Master Biden, we're gonna need you to like tip your head now and give all your voters over to good old Joe. You know what I'm saying? And she's asking him, is you willing to bend the knee, Negro?
What do? Do you ultimately back President Biden like you did in 2020, or what would you do in that scenario, do you think?
Well, I mean, part of the challenge, my dear sister, is that, you got Trump. He's certainly a gangster, neo-fascist. He's, in many ways, promoting, if not promoting, that's too strong a word. But one effect of his work is to move toward a second civil war. With Biden, he's better in some ways on domestic issues, but he's leading us toward a third world war. So if we choose between the second civil war and the third world war, where are we? We're between a rock and a hard place. And that's where so many of us find ourselves, unable to really acknowledge the ways in which our system itself is just so toxic. You know, the organized greed at the top, just hemorrhaging the best. The indifference, the levels of hatred and revenge. All I'm doing is saying is, hey, let us try another way that Fannie Lou Hamer already taught us, which is one of love and justice and community and solidarity with the least of these, and organizing and having strikes against organized greedy bosses, and then trying to somehow keep our democracy alive and dismantle the empire. See, I want to head the empire in order to dismantle it. We don't need 800 military units around the world. We don't need U.S. troops in over 100 countries. We need to be a nation among nations. We don't need to be the grand empire that every nation has to bow down to. I'm anti-empire, anti-imperialist in that sense.
Now, all right, I'm gonna run that back for y'all. Y'all heard that? He said he want to be the head of it so he can end it. That's what he said. Yo, what's going on there? I don't know. Oh yeah, definitely.
In solidarity with the least of these, and organizing and having strikes against organized greedy bosses, and then trying to somehow keep our democracy alive and dismantle the empire. See, I want to head the empire in order to dismantle it. We don't need 800 military units around the world. We don't need U.S. troops in over 100 countries. We need to be a nation among nations. We don't need to be the grand empire that every nation has to bow down to. I'm anti-empire, anti-imperialist in that sense.
Yeah, I feel what y'all saying. Let me see, because this is only like a minute. I wanted to play what they, or after he had got off the show or whatever.
As always.
No, indeed. Love you.
Say, I love you, my brother, my brother Anderson Cooper. I love you so much. You know what I'm saying? Because he probably calls his wife a sister. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the hell? But, you know, look at him smiling in his face. But this is, you know, what they
when we
think
disagree.
of him.
Love you, man.
You take care. Joining us now, Democratic strategist James Carville, who helped Bill Clinton win the White House in 1992. James, I mean, you hear Dr. West. What is your reaction to what he had to say? Do you think he rejects the term spoiler candidate. Do you think he could be?
Well, first of all, he's obviously an accomplished scholar, academic. He seems to be a very charming man. And he's also a menace to the threat of the continued constitutional order in the United States.
God, yo, he was like, yo, he's a very nice man. He's very educated. He's also the biggest threat to the United States, their white nationalism.
He seems to be a very charming man. And he's also a menace to the threat of the continued constitutional order in the United States.
Whoa.
Oh, man. So he said he's the biggest threat. That's the Democrats. All right, let me hurry up because this is almost saying, y'all. I just thought this stuff was like, I was just tripping off
within, and that includes, of course, Robert F. Kennedy, a run for the Green
he was
Party.
still making them mad.
West will join us and tell us why.
Saying my brother.
He is now blasting Biden over his, quote, crimes against humanity. But it's not just JFK, RFK Jr. and Cornell Party. And today, West Virginia State. And by the way, when asked about it, he said, well, he has now no answer at this time. Now, that includes the intellectual heavyweights, by the way, Trump, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and given Biden strange and very creepy behavior. Sir, always good to have you.
It's everything you.
Yo, what up, my brother Maurice Muhammad?
You, my friend.
Oh, indeed. I appreciate you having me back, and hope you and your family doing all right.
Now, he was going in supposedly on the Democrats, and so they tried to have him on to go in.
It's been a while, my brother.
I love when you call me brother Sean. You're always welcome to do so.
My brother Sean Hannity, ain't that something?
You are saying that Biden committed crimes against humanity against Black Americans, and you said his record on race issues, and you called out the Democratic Party's history. Let me ask you this. Why overwhelmingly do minorities and African Americans, Hispanic Americans, why are they still continuing to vote in large numbers in the Democratic Party?
Well, one is, I think more and more fellow citizens are reaching the conclusion that the whole system is so rotten, brother. You got both parties that are so corrupt with politicians who are tied to big money. This is true for Republicans. It's true for Democrats. You were talking about Brother Trump himself.
Brother.
Biden's connection to Stennis.
Y'all brother Donald Trump. I guess Donald Trump is y'all brother too.
Biden's connection to Thurman. We know Brother Trump's, his own father has been tied to the Klan. Trump's language about black people.
Hold on a second. I've never heard his father.
The racism cuts.
Professor, I've never heard that allegation. Never once.
Of Trump.
Now, I know
Trump's
Joe Biden said it.
And he like talked about it like back then, so he like lying, but they always be cutting him off at certain points, you know, and it's interesting. I just be tripping.
We want our schools to be integrated and be racial jungles.
No, my brother, you got Dullery. We won't go into all of that now, but I'm not going to say the son has to take responsibility of the father. Oh, no, we have empirical evidence of that in terms of not just how he treated black people in Queens, but also the fact that he took him to Klan rallies. But this is in the history. But we're not talking about...
Still a brother, though, you know what I'm saying? But he's a man of belief, a Christian man of faith, you know.
His father, God bless his soul. We're talking about Trump himself.
God bless his soul.
Look, for example, the brother Yusuf Salam. You know, Yusuf Salam was one of the Central Park of
Sound like that dude, Emmett Till, a family member who was in the room with him, said, God bless the white bitch, you know what I'm saying, after she died. Like, it's crazy.
Brothers who was taken to jail. I was blessed to support him. I live in Harlem. He's now my councilman. What did Brother Trump say about Brother Yusuf? Death penalty,
okay, you made your
not even a fair
though.
trial. I want a fair trial for Trump. I want a fair trial for Trump. Did he want a fair trial for that black brother? No, that's his racism too. It cuts across the board, Brother Sean.
You're talking to the wrong person here. I don't rush to judgment. I'm the one that says everyone's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. You said that black Americans...
And by the way, he was like not doing that for the first 5 minutes of this that we skipped. He was like literally just doing the opposite of what he said.
It's not a priority for Joe Biden. That's what you said.
That's right.
And
that's right.
And how real is your run for the presidency? And what is the likelihood the Green Party is going to be on the ballot in all 50 states?
Well, we're in the process, my brother, of gaining that ballot access. And my run for the presidency is the same for my run for truth and justice ever since I was 15 years old, which is to say, is real as a heart attack. Because if I remain silent about mass incarceration, silent about hood, silent about reservations, silent about poor white and working white folk, silent about the strikes that's taking place, both Trump and Biden on the boss's side when it comes to Hollywood, when it comes to UPS, when it comes to Amazon. I stand with working people. I stand with poor people. I don't care what color they are, brother. They could be your cousins or my cousins. I stand in solidarity with them. It's a moral and a spiritual issue, and that's what it means to have a candidacy that's trying to be critical of the corporate duopoly of both parties tied to...
Yo, somebody in the chat define duopoly for me.
Of the corporate duopoly of both parties tied to corrupt money at the top and militarism abroad, my brother.
You said it's very clear that Joe Biden's cognitive powers are in decline. Professor, you're stating the obvious. Why won't more people on the left, and you're to me on the left, why won't they have the honesty?
I'm definitely on the left. I come out of Martin Luther King Jr. Fannie Lou Hamer.
All right, 40-some-odd years as a professor. I'll stand corrected, but you like Bernie Sanders a lot.
No.
All right, so
he's my brother now. Ain't no doubt about that.
He's his brother, too.
I do want to ask you, though, because I think this is an important question, and I think we should get to the bottom of it. You talked about it's strange that the Secret Service could not identify, a bag of cocaine in the White House. You talked about the slap on the wrist for Hunter Biden.
A bag of cocaine.
Now,
the bag of crack in the White House and the pipes and all that other stuff. Two-party monopolism. Oh, that's crazy. That's the accurate word,
They stopped that investigation into cocaine in the White House in 10 short days, Dr. West. 10 days, Professor. And they didn't interview a single person. Now, that just reeks to me like a cover-up. Why do I believe if it was your White House or Trump's White House or somebody else's White House that treatment wouldn't fly? Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right about that. I don't know about Trump's White House. I can't speak for from my White House, and
Brother Trump, right? Brother Trump, like everybody must have got welcome into the. I ain't gonna say that, That's why maybe this is what happens when you give out those cookout passes. Now everybody's a brother. Y'all gonna be saying this in a little while, Brother Trump.
White House. I can't speak for from my White House, and I've told my
you
beloved
almost
wife,
called him Brother Trump.
I'm not even going to the White House until every American citizen has a house. I want to abolish poverty, abolish homelessness. I want jobs with a living wage. I want everybody to have health care across the board. So in terms of just trying to be fair, but let me say this though, brother. Every father does have a right to love their precious son. It's just that your son cannot have unequal protection. He's got to have equal protection across the board. Oh no! I'm a Christian. I love.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
some love now, because you got kids
love
too,
in my
right?
Heart.
Protection across the board. So I understand the brother's predicament, but we have to be able to bring our criticism to bear. And I hope you bring it to bear, my brother, with some love now, because you got kids
love
too,
in my
right?
Heart. You know me for how many years?
Right,
a lot of love in this heart.
As much as I can.
You don't even like to admit,
my brother.
You love me more than you want to admit publicly. Just say it. You can say it.
Oh no! I'm a Christian. I love everybody. I begin on the chocolate side of town because my mom and dad. But I love everybody. I love you too. It's just
I believe in Jesus like you do.
Would they tell you that slavery was for your own benefit? There's some of the skills we done picked up. I will play that one more time just for y'all. You know.
I'm a Christian. I love everybody. I begin on the chocolate side of town because my mom and
dad.
But I love
so is
everybody.
he.
I love you too. It's just
that my love Jesus for you
I'm pushing you against the wall in any racism, any transphobia, homophobia, and any
I am against
indifference to poor and working people.
Racism. I find it repugnant and evil. End of sentence. And no conservative that thinks that way or says they think that way, I want nothing to do with them. Dr. West.
I'm sorry, y'all. There's one more, okay? You know, I had to play this, Joe. She was like, by the end, she was like, yo, shut up and read or whatever, you know.
Sacramento, even before and his PhD.
I'm sorry, it's just funny,
so things have changed.
I shouldn't even play this last one. I should get off it. If y'all want to say something about this, this is the last one, all right?
So, why do you think so many of the... I mean, I was laughing about that. Like Bernie Sanders.
Indeed. No,
seems like
Brother Bernie's my dear brother. But first, I want to thank you for having me on, Sister Laura. Very much so. But no, Bernie got shut down by the corporate wing of the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party is so tied to Wall Street, so tied to the Pentagon, that I thought it very important to build on the richer legacy that has shaped and molded me, not just the West family, not just Shiloh Baptist. System stands in the way for the empowerment of precious poor people and precious working people. And I am what color they are, no matter what gender.
Not Donald Trump. I don't think Ron DeSantis, but pretty much all the other Republicans are for the U.S. being on the hook for perpetually defending Ukraine from the aggression of any other country. Why is that interventionism, let's focus on the Democrat Party, at the cornerstone now of who they are?
Invasion and occupation. I mean,
we on the surveillance state, on the perpetual war, on the Wall Street influence in politics. We agree on a lot of things. In the inner city, with increased real median income, increased entrepreneurial opportunities, criminal justice reform.
To acknowledge that the grotesque wealth inequality was increasing even as those low unemployment rates were in place. Now, I give them credit for the low unemployment rates, but
outside the Pentagon, they were all turned against Trump. So you have to acknowledge that. Milley, the whole Milley apparatus, they were all against Trump. All of them. Why would...
I'm going straight into Brother Trump's country, and I'm going to tell the brothers and sisters of all colors, I want you not to scapegoat the most vulnerable. I want you to confront the most powerful. That's Wall Street. That's Silicon Valley. That's the war profiteers of Pentagon.
Yeah.
That's where I think we need to go.
They're going to hate you. They're going to hate you. And
she was like saying, going to the Trump Valley, they're going to hate you, you Negro, right? And this is his response to they gonna hate you.
Oh, I welcome their hostility because you know as
I want to ask you.
Yes,
I want to ask you about an open border. I mean, take it away from Trump. The border is essentially open today. If you want to come into the country, you can come in, which the liberals have all said they're always for. They like the idea of an open border. Do you think an open border has helped the plight of African Americans in cities like Chicago, in New York, St. Louis, Baltimore, Oakland, San Francisco? Has it helped their standard of living?
Well, I mean, one is that you first always have to begin at the top. You have to look at the ways in which the business people and the property owners bring in cheap labor in order to keep the wages low. That's why I support not just trade union movements. That's why I support the various strikes that's on the way this summer to make sure working people gain concessions, because
you sound
those
like
at the
Ron
top
DeSantis.
seem to be so greedy. They
That's
seem to
what
be
Ron
so
DeSantis
greedy.
says.
No, but
Yeah.
no. But the problem with
Yeah.
DeSantis is he's got the
He says
xenophobic.
they're trying to lower
he's got
wages,
the xenophobic
Cornell.
dimension to it. But I want the immigrants
There's a lot of
and the
agreement
workers
here.
of all colors to come together against the bosses. DeSantis still has too much xenophobia for me. And that's a radical difference between right-wing populists.
I will tell you this, because a lot of people say that, and you cannot question his education, you know what I'm saying? You can kind of question his intelligence, you know what I'm saying? Because maybe you haven't retained enough information to realize that the people of every color have stabbed you in the back, you know what I'm saying? And I can tell you how from like all of them, you know what I'm saying? But I'll spare y'all the rest of that one, all right? So while I do that, I'm gonna play this one real quick just for my brother MV2, and then I'm gonna if y'all want to come on here, let me know, because I'm gonna close out, because I don't want to be long. Bakari is gonna come on here after this, I was just tripping about that, so y'all gotta forgive me for this one, all right? But so this the soldier right here that ran through North Korea, and they thought he was performing a TikTok stunt. So this is a little bit of that, and I ain't even gonna get deep into it, but I just wanted to play this.
From a tourist camera, an image of the US soldier who broke for the border. In the black cap, this is Travis King, minutes before he ran into North Korea.
Oh yeah, he used to, and also when he between him and Sister Soldier too, you know what I'm saying? I seen that one. I seen parts of the one with John Henry Clark, but I know even with the one with Sister Soldier, he's saying the same thing. Like Cornel West has always been that type of. He's trying to be what's his name? You know what I'm saying? Like the Boys and like Booker T. Washington, not Booker T. Washington, but one of them brothers. I'm sorry, Frederick Douglass. You know what I'm saying? He wants to be like the Frederick Douglass. He had a white wife, and that's another reason why they be trying to do all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Christian and welcome everybody. Like, so you can welcome his wife. Like, we ain't gonna just look past that. But my bad. Let me play this.
In the black cap, this is Travis King, minutes before he ran into North Korea. The private second class blended in with a tour group before running off at speed.
I noticed some guy running very, very fast towards the North Korean side. I thought it was some kind of stupid stunt that he was doing for TikTok or something like that. And I thought that was an incredibly stupid thing to do in a place like that. And then he sort of just didn't slow down and didn't stop. There were soldiers who had been supervising us. They yelled, they chased him, but he was going so fast and he was so close to the border that they couldn't catch him.
Now if anybody's up, I'm not even gonna explain it, but if anybody's up on what's going on with this, I wish I could just show y'all the comments that they had about this young brother. You know what I'm saying? They was like hot, saying everything you can imagine.
3-year-old soldier had been serving with the US military, seen here conducting drills in South Korea. Private King had been in trouble with the authorities following alleged assaults, including punching a South Korean national in a nightclub. He was also fined for kicking the door of a police car. It's unclear how he ended up in the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea, where he made a run for it. The soldier had been escorted to the airport to be flown back to base in the United States, but he didn't board his flight.
And I don't understand why he would do that, because it seemed like he was on his way back here to the United States. He was on his way home. So it don't make no sense to me.
And so yeah, there you go. To a brother saying it don't make no sense. It's like trip. Now I have to play this one just for my brother Black Megas. He put me on to this dude when I was doing the thing about the veterans. And who I was talking about, people, this is another brother who
victims of this mass shooting. 11 Alive's Jerry.
They called it a mass shooting.
More on this grieving community, Jerry, and how those people will be remembered.
Good morning, Aisha. That vigil will take place tonight at 7:30 at Terry Jones Depot Park in Hampton. The entire town is in shock, mourning the deaths of 4 people. It has hit one Hampton neighborhood particularly hard. Sunday services at Pinecrest Baptist Church in Hampton were unlike any other.
God, I beg you to pour out your grace on this family today.
All I'm saying is, right, I'm glad it ain't like another Mamie Till situation instead, right?
This family today.
This is a congregation in mourning, a church community praying for the family of Ron Jeffers, who attended Pinecrest Baptist. The 66-year-old is remembered here for his compassion.
Thank you for the testimony of Brother Ron.
In Hampton woke up Saturday morning, people, all neighbors in Dogwood Lakes, victims of a mass shooting. They are 67-year-old Scott Leavitt, his 66-year-old wife, Shirley.
Now, I did not know the name of this brother here, you know what I'm saying, who is Andre Longmore, who was a military veteran, and he wasn't getting, you know what I'm saying, what he was supposed to get, like with the help mentally, and he had a mental breakdown. And he just snapped on, like, most likely his racist neighbors and then, like, killed them all, you know what I'm saying? And this was down in Atlanta, so...
The suspect's past.
Atlanta News First reporter Patrick Quinn. He's live where those first shots were fired. And Patrick, you've learned the accused shooter, he was a decorated Army veteran.
That's right. An official with the U.S. Army said Andre Longmore, he served in the Army for 6 years from 2000 to 2006. And yes, he was a decorated veteran. They sent me a long list of accolades, at least seven different medals that he earned while he was in Afghanistan. We were able to talk with Longmore's mom today, and she said when he got back, things started to change. And she said she blames the military for turning her son into, quote, a monster.
As soon as I opened up my window, I seen his arms in the air. I said, okay, I'm just missed the shot. When he came back down, he focused again.
Frankie Worth
Probably
was there
not on
Saturday
you.
when police say 40-year-old Andre
He wasn't aiming
Longmore
for
started
black
shooting
people.
at neighbors outside his home in the Dogwood Lake subdivision of Hampton.
I'm just beside myself right now. I just don't know what to think.
Neighbors in shock. Scott Levitt and his wife Shirley, along with Steve Blizzard and Ronald Jeffers, all in their 60s, were killed. A day later, police tracked Longmore roughly 10 miles north to Clayton County.
He had a gun, he was naked, he was bleeding.
Justin Robinson called 911. When police got there, they cornered Longmore inside a Jonesboro home.
Police go in, they open the back door. As soon as they open the back door, they don't even look. They don't like assess anything. As soon as they open the back door, this guy just starts shooting. Shoots one of the cops. Police start shooting, and now he's laying in there dead on the carpet.
Officials tell me Longmore served in the U.S. Army from 2000 to 2006. His mom did not want to talk on camera, but said when his service ended, he eventually snapped, later diagnosed with PTSD and schizophrenia. I reached out to the VA hospital in Atlanta. Due to privacy concerns, they could not confirm if Longmore was ever a patient there, but told me, quote, "We are deeply saddened by this tragedy, and our thoughts are with those affected by this devastating loss. We are unable to share additional details at this time. The Atlanta VA HCS will continue to support local authorities as the investigation continues." And you have to remember that this shooting, this mass shooting at
My bad. It's one more because I wanted to play what his mom
was
said.
behind a deadly mass shooting over the weekend, and he's on the south.
And killed Andre Longmore during what a witness describes as a shootout. Here's Atlanta News First reporter Rebecca Schramm in Hampton.
I spoke off camera with the mother of the now deceased suspect. She tells me her son was in the Army for 6 years. She says years after his service, he snapped.
I'm just beside myself right now. I just don't know what to think.
Neighbors in the Dogwood Lake subdivision in Hampton are in a state of disbelief after what police say 41-year-old Andre Longmore did Ronald Jeffers, all and called police.
Police go in.
Yeah, it's the same one. So I got the wrong one. So, I won't do that. All right. Yeah, I know. So that brother ended up snapping and, took out them. You never know. They was probably threatening him. He probably feared for his life, for all I know. You know what I'm saying? But, he made sure that it was them after all of those years of abuse and all that stuff. And that's just something like when I was talking about the black veterans and stuff like that. So I do want to show this, because I think the sister is doing something good. You know what I'm saying? The brother Koku interviewed her, and she's been doing it for a long time. So like I think, and I saw this on my brother Black Maggot's IG page. I ain't even gonna show it because like it got his face on it. I don't want to like put it on here. So like, but he showed like going down there and showed footage of it, and it looked pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? But this sister is doing a lot, and I definitely support what she's doing. I have supported her. You know what I'm saying? And so shouts out to this sister here. And she had the Black Education Expo down in Atlanta. I ain't even know about it, so
Greetings, family. This is Queen Thais, and I am coming to you because I am so excited about the upcoming 12th annual Liberated Minds Black Homeschool and Education Expo. I'm inviting you all to come out because no more are we going to sit around and complain about solutions. There's so many more Black families homeschooling now in the U.S. And I'm so excited because I've been doing this for almost 30 years. And to see us blossoming and stepping into the true power of being in the driver's seat of our children's education is absolutely Blacknificent. Hear me now. So this is a place where you can come and you can meet other Black homeschool families, not just from around the country, but from around the world, from everywhere. There's so many families that come. It's also been coined the family reunion of African-centered education, where we get together with culturally responsive curriculum, where we're able to just really go deep, right? We have over 40 presentations and workshops. So if you have any question about how to do anything, this is where you can come and learn it all, whether it's reading, writing, setting up a curriculum, your child going to college, making those plans, allowing your child to live in their divine purpose, right? There's so many areas that we will be covering and so many families that will be coming together. This is our first year back in person since COVID. We've been virtual. So now we will be back in person at at the Georgia Piedmont Technical College Conference Center. We are taking over the whole building, y'all. So
and matter of fact, while I do that, let me put this in, because I wanted to, and I'm gonna get off of here after this. So if you wanted to say something about that, be real quick. But and then Bakari about to go live, so like that's why I'm like only giving to right now. So if you wanted to say something, but yeah, I just thought that stuff was interesting.
I'm just super excited. We will have vendors with curriculum, everything you need, get your questions answered. We have many homeschool veterans that will be there, and we have those who are just starting out and those who are just looking to switch up their journey a little bit and get a little bit more focused on where they are right now in this aspect of life. So I invite you to come out, go to liberatedmindsexpo.com, LIBERATED, Minds, which is MINDS, and Expo, EXPO.com. I look forward to seeing you there. Once again, bring your schools, bring your families, bring your community. This is not just for homeschoolers. This is also for Black parents who are serious about their children's education, because homeschooling is just a mindset, y'all. It's a mindset. It's a way of taking charge and really making sure that our children get what they need, because time is running out. Hear me, y'all. Time is running out. We got to get very serious, very motivated. So come and see how we can work together, how we can build together and rise together. Much love. I'll see you there.
All right. Let me see this real quick. All right, I'm only gonna play like okay. So Shanique and my brother MG2. What's going on, y'all?
Hey, what's up, forecast?
Not much.
MG2.
Peace.
Yeah, so what's going on? I think Shanique came on first. Shanique, what's going on?
No, I just wanted to show up because I really appreciated your bringing that last bit out, because I think it was a little indicated to me to do that very thing. In the past, I've done homeschooling with my children out of necessity for location and necessity for just the fact that I had a few little ones at one time, and I felt like it was just too much what they were not getting. And as I got older, I changed my mind and it became, I guess, more convenient. But that was a little bit of a nudge to me that I may very well need to do that again although I've had some indicators that I needed to do it again. So that much I'm thankful for. That first part was like the videos earlier. They got me a little riled up because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking Cornel West is, I don't want to judge. No, I'm not going to judge, man. I really do not appreciate the way in which he is a spokesperson for supposedly us. And there is nothing that he's seeking to do except be a spokesperson for the world, in my opinion. That's all I have.
Well, you do know that we have to go around and teach them how to use washcloths, or you know what I'm saying.
I guess in our own homes, if you go with him.
Or you can also welcome them into your culture and teach them how to do medicine and all of that stuff. Or you can learn, you know. But yo, I feel you. I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you were saying. What else, MD2?
Oh, always good to listen to Sister Shanique. Oh my goodness gracious. You know, Brother Forecast, you light a fire under me every time. You know, the thing that I really appreciate, and I'm glad Sister Shanique had talked about it, was definitely homeschooling, because I got to thinking. And you know, when I get to thinking, it's a dangerous thing. One of the things that I notice is Cornel West comes from a vintage era of assimilation. Okay. And the thing is, when I say vintage, you know, that we're going to save everyone, you know, we're a part of this global construct, you know, kumbaya, you know, bottom line. And the thing is we're increasingly into a non-kumbaya existence right now. I mean, across the world, you know, I mean, right wing is, or any wing is starting, you know, everyone's circling the wagons. So the thing about that, and I'm going to tie both of these together. Cornel West, like many others, have been, you know, very consistent. You know, they've been consistent. That's why I brought the thing up about Amos Wilson. You know, I mean, he was saying the same thing back then. And when you mentioned, of course, Sister Soldier. So this vintage relic of assimilation is not going to work in today's world. Of, you know, if you look at the AfD party taking over Germany, Spain just had a right wing. Looks like they're winning. You know, it's across the world. You know, this right wing. You know, you see what's going on in Florida. You see what's going on in Missouri, what they're fixing to do in Wisconsin. So, you know, everyone's circling the wagons for their own interests. So the thing is that I like is the fact that this new homeschooling, you know, when we're getting back into that era, we have the chance of basically erasing that vintage mindset of, you know, kumbaya, you know, and start raising folks that are more, you know, protectionist, you know, folks that are more, you know, nationalistic, you know, they're thinking in their own interest. And that's a good thing, you know, because I have a feeling that, you know, because I mean, Cornel West is an entertainer. He's a joke. I met him on a few occasions. So it's not, I don't really take what he says serious. No, neither does anyone else, because they know that, hey, you know, everything's stratified. There's no reason to take him serious. He's, you know, he's a spoiler like Ralph Nader, no different. So the thing is I like Sister Shanique was talking about, you know, reemerging in the homeschooling scenario. I'd love to take it even further, not only homeschooling, but those that are exiting schools, those that are exiting into, you know, so-called higher education, getting as much to have this realization that's going on in terms of everyone circling their own wagons, to where, you know, I think that the relics like the Cornel West and, you know, all those, you know, the ones that are out, I think that hopefully that we could go ahead and erase that from history. My fear is there's many young folks coming after him that have the same mentality of this kumbaya, this assimilation. And I think that we're going to be in a really bad situation unless we start to, you know, school them early and school them after the so-called education system. I'll go ahead and pass the mic.
Yeah, facts. My brother Bakari, what's going on, my brother?
What's going on? Everybody on the panel in the chat, what's going on? Cornel West. Well, you know, he well, all you got to do is just look, and I'm gonna say it like the Fat Herschel Walker said, Jason Whitlock. Look at their dating patterns, and you know if they're really about. Then when he was talking about when he threw shots at Shannon Sharp, look at their dating patterns. And you look at his marriage patterns. He married white. So when white folks got to be his brothers, So he's for everybody. I don't trust nobody. You black, but can't nobody mention black. If you mention black, you got to group everybody with black people. But to let you know he's for sure, my opinion, he go on CNN, he bashed the Democrats, he go on Fox, he bashed the Republicans. He know he gonna get 4.5 votes. That's all he know. That's what he's gonna get. He wouldn't do a damn. Excuse me. He wouldn't do a damn thing either. You can sit there and talk about Donald Trump and his family, but they still your brother at the end of the day, because he was still calling them brother Trump. You understand what I'm saying? So that's just Corny West just need to sit down and be quiet, But there's people that listen to him. Like I said, just one channel I listen to. I don't listen to him like that, but every now and then. And the guy and one of his brothers, one of the guys on the panel came on and said, "Man, I'm gonna always be with you. I'm not 100% socialist. I'm not 100% capitalist, but I would not sign. But I am 100% black, so I would not sign with Cornel West. When we go to talking about what black people need, you can't mention black people. You have to bring up your white brothers and sisters, your brothers and sisters of all colors and races. So here with Cornel West. Now in the school, the homeschool thing, that is great. That's great what she is doing. Like I said, I wish I had known about it. Again, I would have made sure I made it over if I had known about it. I didn't, but hopefully next time when they get ready to do it here in Atlanta, instead of going to Georgia Perimeter College, I can introduce them to a brother that own space where own building 4,000 square feet. I don't know how many people was there, but he owned a 4,000 square foot event space with kitchen and everything in the outdoors where you can do everything there. So hopefully next time, when they come, I can be introduced to that brother. So instead of dealing with that college, you can go to that black owned event space. I get it, mate.
Yeah, he said 4.5 million. Ms. Rita said 4.5. He's like, no, you get 4.5 million. But yo, I feel what you're saying, Bukhari. My brother Maurice Muhammad came on here. Yo, what's going on, my brother?
Peace and blessings, big bro. How you doing?
Good, my brother. How you?
I'm doing good. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for sharing the link. And I would like to say peace and blessings to everybody on the chat. Peace and blessings to everybody that's on the panel as well. This was a great program that you had on tonight, as always. One thing that we got to realize about Cornel West, one, his candidacy is not real simply because he's not even on all the ballots in every state. So when you on purpose join a party to run for them, but then you're not on you're not on every ballot, so people are going to have to write your name in. That's already saying that you're playing around. And this thing that we definitely should understand when we're listening to these politicians talk, Trump is talking war straight up. He's telling people, I am your retribution, I am your justice, I am your warrior, and they're going off. They understand that this is war. These people that's out here talking this peace, love crap, they're not going nowhere. They're not going nowhere because the majority of white folks feel offended. They feel like something has been snatched from them and they ready to take heads. So Tim Scott with his Republican self, he ain't getting no votes. He was talking about we're going to love everybody and we're going to bring this together. Baby, that's not the time that we're in. We're in the time of war. And that's something that the people better wake up and understand. These crackers, they're not playing. They really feel like something has been taken from them and they want vengeance. So just like back in 1919 when you had the Red Summer, well, trust and believe, this is where you at now. Right now, it's just political talk where they can change laws and do that. And if that doesn't work, trust and believe, blood gonna be flowing again up and down these streets. Because these crackers are on a war bend and they got the blood taste in their mouth. It's just this time we're dealing with a different set of black people. We're dealing with a different set of time. So we better be understanding exactly what's for real. And the BS, we can dismiss that because that's not getting nowhere. That's not getting nowhere. Trump and his war train is coming. And that's what you better be taking a look at and understanding when you see these crackers and understanding the moves that they about to make. I mean, they're even out trying to change the Constitution, and they've been working this thing ever since they was out there carrying the tiki torches behind the scenes. They've been working this thing to change the Constitution so that they can get more because they feel like they're losing everything. This thing is serious, and it's not a joke, but we better wake up and understand what it is, because war is here now. And we better be prepared to deal and do what need to be done. Thank you, Bilal, for allowing me this time to come up and speak.
Yeah, definitely. And this is what I'm gonna do, because I'm not gonna let it be long, because I know Bakari gonna come on here because he got something to talk about too, you know. And I was gonna ask y'all a question, and y'all kind of answered it. I was gonna ask y'all mean to tell me, right? Like Cornel West, he might do something for everybody, but Black people isn't everybody. I don't think he would do something for Black people included, or because he ain't forgetting about because everybody else is like everybody is everybody but you. But Cornel West, right? Because I asked Bakari this earlier, and he was like, "No," but that's my question to y'all. Y'all don't have to answer. Y'all could just say whatever y'all want to this, because we gonna get out of here after that. So, Shanique, I'm gonna let you go. You can respond to anything you heard or the question I asked. So,
Well, sorry. Well, as far as I'm not certain I understood the question fully. Say it for me again, please.
That y'all trying to say y'all was like y'all all against Cornel West, right? Cornel West is like, I'm gonna do something for Black people too. For all people of the people, y'all saying he not gonna do something for Black people, because I don't know, he might be the only one that do something for Black people, but he's just gonna do something for like the gay people, the poor white people, the white bitches, you know what I'm saying? The list goes on.
Oh, okay. Well, to that, yeah, absolutely. He's going to do something guaranteed for everyone else. I mean, we could sit and hope that he's going to do like all of the others have said that they would do, and then they get there and they do exactly what they've shown that they would do, which is absolutely nothing for Black people. I don't understand how we can't recognize that every year, every decade, every century, things just keep getting progressively worse for Black people in the sense of what's real, what's in your face. The slavery that existed may very well have been extremely worse physically and constricting and all of those things, yet some of us were still able to make some change. And they always tout that when they say, oh, well, look what we were able to accomplish. But the only thing that has been accomplished recently in the last 50 years is the idea that we should hamper down, collectively work with others, be nice, and wait on them to grow a conscience, which is not going to happen. So I like what the last brother said. And, it's funny because we all kind of get that mindset that, hey, this is war. It's happening. It is happening. It's coming, and it's currently happening. Right now, we have been slowly getting more and more assaults, whether it be physical, health-wise, psychological. It's been happening year after year after year. And the fact that we have to now hope that this generation that's coming after, and as far as in education, will actually see that there's a need for them to fight is kind of concerning, because if it's not apparent that we need to fight right now, if it's not apparent that people are holding cameras instead of actually physically attacking someone when their brother is being attacked, I could say that you might very well be my brother because genetically we kind of share some markers, like the clear distinction that you're a brother, not just something to say to kind of wage some or garner some type of camaraderie, because there isn't any. And when it comes down to brass taxes, we see that there's no camaraderie. When it's time to toe lines, the lines are defined and they're drawn. And right now it is coming to that. The fact that we saw a Black male run to, was it North Korea? In this day and age tells you he got the clue that we're all sitting here on our hands trying to figure out. He said, hold on, this is my opportunity and they are not for me. Now, I don't know why his own brother wouldn't say, let me just keep to the idea that my family is a good person. We raised him right. He has a good head on his shoulder. There must be something he's trying to do. We don't know what it is, but that's it. Instead of doing that, they said, well, we don't know. We went right back to, I don't know, Master, why he go do some fool mess like that. I don't know. I don't understand it. So clearly, we have to all, in our own little pockets, start ushering those around us to get the clue that, yes, war is not just fighting. It is fighting. It's fighting on all fronts. And we have to start doing it because it's happening. We're just being attacked. We're taking smacks and we don't realize where they're coming from. And so someone's saying, no, you haven't been smacked. That's you. You're delusional. Stop pulling the race card. Stop pulling the segregation card. Stop pulling the whatever. You're oppressed. Stop being a victim. No, we're being attacked. And we're just not fighting. But when we get the clue, which is what they've been afraid of all the time we've been here, when we finally get the clue, ooh, Lord, no mercy on them. Have no mercy on them, Lord, when we get the clue. That's I yield.
Oh, man. She was going in, yo. Hey, so MG2, like, I feel what Shanique said. I can't even argue with her. So I guess I'll put it on you then, Now, Ms. Vita said Cornel West was full of hot air, but he said he wanted to be the head of an empire so that he can destroy that empire.
Yeah, I guess, hey, if that's what he could do, power to him. I did several programs, as Brother Forecast and Travis King, and I got to hand it to that brother because he didn't take his anti-drapetomania. I called it draptocin. It's like an antibiotic for drapetomania for Black folks. Because most of us get it out of the womb. They inoculate us with draptocin to keep us from running from a plantation. So I mean, it's no wonder that Travis's own brother went, yes, sir, because he takes it on a weekly basis, so he can't run from a plantation. In terms of what Sister Shanique and what Brother Muhammad were talking about war, and it might just be me just getting old or whatnot, but I don't think that war is coming. I think war has been around for quite some time. It's something that's been here since we've encountered these animals. The thing is it's like boiling frogs. Black folks are like boiling frogs. The only difference between us and them frogs is the frogs, when they knew they were boiling, it was too late. Unfortunately, we as Black folk, clearly by Travis King's brother, we're using that boiling water as a hot tub. So it's unfortunate that war is already, it's not unfortunate that it's here. I embrace it. I enjoy it. It's just that I hope that we come to the realization that it's not something that's coming. It's something that's always been, and it's only going to increase like the boiling water. I hope that we realize that we're not in a hot tub. The thing is I really hope that Cornel West gets really far in his election. I really do. I am praising this assimilationist, I don't want to call him a ne'er-do-well. I just call him an ineffectual thing, because the thing is, one, he's a spoiler. And I hope he gets further. And I hope he gets so far, because on the other side, I don't fear Trump or the crackers that are getting things taken away from him. I call their so-called constitution their constitution, not the constitution. It's theirs. It has nothing to do with me. I call it the constipation if it has something to do with me. Every cracker that feels like something that's been taken from him is a day that I'll sit there. I might even take a drink, and I don't even drink. So the thing is the more they feel like something's being taken away, the more that they get Trump out there as their warrior, the more that means, one, they're up against the wall. Two, they're fearing the inevitable, as Sister Shanique says, hey, no mercy. They're fearing that. Three, that means that they're fearing something that's more powerful. And clearly, if we stop being like boiling frogs, we'll know we got power, one day. And the thing is, the more and more that my enemy is scared and discombobulated and unorganized and damnably, ravenously, bestial, that means that I know that I could conquer that roach. That means that virus that's around it's no different than a virus. You're mostly the sickest you've ever been right before your body starts to heal. So that means that, hey, Black folks are about to heal themselves of this virus. Caucasians and all their ilk, from East India to China or whoever else, we're about to heal ourselves. The thing is, the more desperate they become, the more ravenous they become, the more it's a lot easier to go ahead and destroy them. So yes, Trump, be their warrior. These crackers that are like at war, whatever, the more they feel like something's being taken, the more I'm a continue to take, even if I haven't taken yet. The thing is I want Cornel West to win for the basic reason that those who do not those who do not remember the past are going to compete it over and over and over. So the Cornel West and the Tim Scotts, I hope they get further, because what's going to happen, more than likely, is that ravenous beast is going to tell you what protectionism or sectarianism or populism is what it really is. And they're going to tell you, it's not going to take Jason Aldean. It's not going to take Pat Boone. It's not going to take Sean Hannity or Tucker Carlson. It's going to take you going to the store, getting a loan, having dogs sick on you like the brother in Ohio, having, it doesn't matter. I mean, it'll be endless for us to kind of get a clue that, hey, Cornel West and the Tim Scotts are no way to go. And the more and more they accelerate, the more and more that we're going to be learning a lesson that, hey, that way is not going to be, that's not going to be the way that we're going to have survival or even any type of an oasis, for lack of a better term. That will actually, like they say, the N-word moment is going to be global, for lack of a better term. And those who, fail to go ahead and, get that clue, I'm not going to be here to school them. Consequence is like one of them folks that knock on your door every Saturday morning when you've been up all night. You're like, who's that? And they're holding a watchtower. Consequence is going to knock on their door, no different than anyone else. The ones who fail to see that are the ones who are going to go ahead and be beholden to the Cornel West and the Tim Scotts, thinking that this is a kumbaya, we can all get along scenario. I've said it many a time and I'll say it again. King of the Mountain is not a multicultural sport. For every other race, it is Hunger Games. For Cornel West, the Tim Scotts, and all these assimilationists, it's like kumbaya. We're about, as Brother Muhammad said, we're about to see Hunger Games live, and it ain't going to take Jason Aldean to do it. Okay, you're about to see it in every front. So the thing is like I said, that top of that mountain of King of the Mountain, I've been saying it forever. It's the diameter of sitting on the top of that mountain is like the head of a sewing needle. And the thing is, folks that want to stand up there, it's going to be hard to be up on the top of that mountain anyways. The folks that have people on their shoulders and holding them on their back like Cornel West and everyone saying, we can all be at the top of this mountain, it's insanity at its best, because you're going to get a needle through your foot. All that extra weight, the only weight we should be carrying as Africans, as Black folk, is ourselves. Name nobody else on our back to try to hold them up, because if we hold them up, they're higher than we are. So it doesn't make any sense. So I'm praising Cornel West for the foolishness and the unfortunate laissez-faire type of, very Pollyannish idiocy that he's going. I do praise that, and I hope he gets really far, because the more he goes, the more you're going to see the counterweight of that, like the Trumpsters and the Oath Keepers and anyone else. You're going to see the reality coming from them. And more importantly than anything else, the biggest learning lesson that anyone could ever have is consequence and its cousin called reality. And I praise that, and I want it to happen, and I hope he gets far, and I hope the Trumpers go ahead and get even more vile, because, hey, that's only going to give me more inspiration to see reality and its cousin consequence. I'll pass the mic.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's all facts, my MG2, and that's the truth. And it's crazy, the Black people in Florida, they've been taught right now, like, si senor, So that's what the next thing we're gonna have to learn, And Bakari, so you like to cape for people all the time, Bakari. I know you got my back with this Cornel West thing. Ain't gonna do stuff for Black people, but it might be for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Everybody might get some, but Black people, you understand what I'm trying to say, right, Bakari? Like,
yeah, I understand what you're trying to say, but I don't think he's gonna do anything specifically for Black folk. I don't think I just don't. But I do understand what you're trying to say. If anybody was to do something for Cornel West, even though he'll do something for Black folk, even though Corny is for everybody, and since he's for everybody, he would have to figure out to give something to Black folks, right? But one thing about, I'm gonna say this, when you said something about, Corny said he want to create an empire to take down the empire. How can you create an empire to take down the empire when you started talking about slavery and how people benefited whatever from slavery? You let the white boy cut you off who benefit directly from slavery. His great granddaddy was damn Vanderbilt in Tennessee. They tried to tell you he got it from railroad. No, he got his money from slavery. But how you gonna take down an empire when you scared to even tell him, no, you benefited from slavery? See, that was his opportunity right there to show what he was made of. You benefited directly from slavery. You did. But no, so you can't, and that one thing about people that say they are socialists or whatever the hell they are, they never have a military to fight anything. Now when Maurice and MG2 and Shanique, they was talking about war. Yep, the war is up on us. It's been here. So when we talk about war, I ask how many of us is preparing? There's many different ways, stages you have to go through for preparation. We can know it's here, but are we preparing? Are we ready? And that's the thing. Any of us, are we trying to create teams where we live? At least I say start with 10 because it's hard to get us sometimes. Are we trying to create teams so we can take care of one another? Right? Because the war is here, not the fantasy. Not the fantasy where I hear people say, well, we don't need guns and we don't need this and we don't need that, or the sky gonna crack and God gonna come get them and somebody gonna come down on a flying donkey and all that. I'm talking about reality. Are we preparing mentally and physically for what is already here? Are we preparing to feed ourselves? Do we have toilet paper, paper towels stocked up? Do we have canned goods? Can we go right now? Can we go right now? 6-7 months and don't have to shop. You can feed yourself at least one real meal a day. At least one. And I ain't even saying get enough for 3, at least enough for 1 meal a day. Are we preparing for that? MG2 talk about working out. It is something needed because sometimes you might have to retreat. Retreat don't mean you're whooped. Retreat don't mean you're scared. Sometimes you retreat for survival to regroup. Who can get out here right now with 50 pounds on their back and go 10 miles? Huh? I do it all the time, first rifleman. I train I put my 30 pound, and me and my daughter, we went hiking the other day. We're going hiking again this Saturday. How many of us prepared for the things to come? I know I've put a show off that I've been saying I'm going to do. How many of us studied how much electricity you can get from a marine battery, where you can run a lamp and a microwave, keep your phone and everything charged from marine batteries? Since we know war are here, who is preparing or who is prepared? You'll never be 100% prepared, but we do need to be prepared. And on that, I get a mic.
All right. So it's gonna be on my brother Maurice Muhammad, and then First Rifleman. Bakari want to go live. So after this, we was about to close out. So
Now you can stay on, man. You already on here. You can stay on if you want.
No. I mean, go ahead. I want you to do yours too. You know, it's just everybody go over there. You know what I'm saying? But my brother Maurice Muhammad, go ahead.
Thank you, dear brother. No, I don't think if by some miraculous way he makes it to the White House, no, I don't think he will do anything for Black people because he doesn't have the strength. As Brother Bakari just alluded to, when he was dealing with Anderson Cooper, he failed the test right then and there. Anytime a person tells you, I love everybody, that means you don't even love your own self. So again, when you're dealing with the cause of justice for Black people, that's not a diplomatic language. So that you don't go in there saying, can we do this? No, you go in there saying, this is what I'm going to do, and you do it. It's not something that's up for conversation. It's not something that's up for debate. This is what's going to happen. It's unquestionable. And so when people are still using diplomatic language when it comes to our justice and what Black people need, no, if they talking diplomatic, they don't have the strength. We need an undiplomatic person to do what need to be done. And that's why you have to be Black first, because if you're not Black first, you're not going to get it done because you're wanting to be friends with everybody. No, we have to care about the things that we need, and we got to make it sure that we make it happen. That's why we are a proponent of, running for office, getting there, and doing what we need to do. We're straight up about taking over, and we're not asking your permission. This is what we're going to do, and you're going to get used to it, or you can just go to hell, because you don't have another choice left on this planet. We have to be that kind of self-assured We have to be just like that. It doesn't matter what the cracker thinks because they're useless. They can't stop what we decide to do, period, point blank. We don't need to ally with them. We don't need their solidarity. We don't need nothing from them. We just need ourselves with a determined mindset and to go out there and get it done. So Cornel West, we can forget that. We can forget that as quickly as he let the words, "I'm running for president," out of his mouth. We can forget it because it means nothing for us. And I rest.
Yeah, I feel you, my brother. I feel you. Now, First Rifleman, even though he ain't gonna agree with me about Cornel West, he'll agree if I said Tim Scott instead. So go ahead and say what you want to say, First Rifleman. Africa's First Rifleman.
Thank you, Forecast. Been watching your education series. Great stuff. So I just wanted to send you a shout out there. Can I comment on the slavery thing really quickly, or you want me to? Okay. I'll. And it's taken me a long time. Like when I was a lot younger, I was like all on W. Du Bois, like team, I guess you can say, or like everything he wrote, I like agreed with and all that stuff. But as I get older and as I get like more, I guess, intellectually sound when it comes to like Black history in America or in the West in general, I tend to start agreeing with Booker T. Washington more, I'm not saying everything he said was like maybe correct or that's like that like he's the end all be all, but I just think he had the best ideas besides Marcus Garvey. Those two, so what I'm saying is, of course, people like to level at Booker T that he is too soft, he loved white people and all that stuff, but it's just the building blocks he laid out in his book kind of just holds the key to building Black power, especially if you don't have white people on your neck. Obviously, that they were on our neck for 150 years after slavery or whatever, or 100 years after slavery, I should say. I think if we literally did what he said today, we'd be 100 times better off. Obviously, that's my opinion, but it's just hard for me not to think, because W.E.B. Du Bois wanted us to, be in the white man's institute, or that's what he was doing. He was in the white man's institutions or whatever. Not saying we can't have Black scholars or we can't put forth people to take over white American institutions, which I agree with. Like we should be doing that, but I'm talking about not dabbling. I'm talking about take them over, just like other races of people. Like I would say the Irish taking over like the police, like that kind of that thing. We should take over the army. We should take over higher education, but we should stick to something just like Mexicans are known for being handymen and infrastructure and oil and gas. Like, they're kind of known for being industrious in that way. We need to figure out an industry or a place to go that we literally take over. Just like the Jews, they think the Jews have banking or they control banking. We need to have something where it's just like, besides basketball, of course, that, we own that. We run it. We are the proprietors of it. So I'll just say that. Hopefully I haven't been all over the place. And last thing I'll say about the preparedness thing, Brother Bakari said so much, so I'm not going to rehash a lot of what he said. But one thing I will say, or just kind of a new idea for our Black people to think about, I'm one of the people that actually go deep undercover sometimes, but mostly just as myself as a Black person, and goes and talks to these quote unquote white supremacists and white nationalists or Trump people or whatever. Everybody knows I'm voting for Trump. Sorry if you don't like it, but I talk to a lot of these people and I understand what their ideology is or what they want. As of right now, like if anything goes down, like Brother Bakari is like trying to get y'all started, to start building your body, start building your repertoire and your skill set and all that stuff. White folks are already getting that right now. You go on Telegram, you got hundreds of thousands of them training up and doing all that stuff. So the white boys I'm listening to, they already on step 2, 3, 4, 5. And as of right now, they're like, dude, if the grid goes down, shoot, I'm already prepared. We're going to go take over a warehouse. They got heat maps. I don't know if you know what a heat map is, but the local area where I live, people that I know, I don't know them personally, or I'm not going to say any of that, but people that I'm familiar with in the Pacific Northwest, they got heat maps of all the warehouses, all the food distribution centers, all the electrical grids, all that stuff, ready to do whatever they think they need to do with those facilities and those things in those facilities. That's where they at right now. They already got teams formed. They already got people they F with. They got communications down, so the government ain't on their back. That's where they at right now. And these are the people y'all so-called are worried about and talk about all day and crack of this and crack of that, but y'all ain't getting cracking. Not y'all, but I'm just saying a lot of black folks talk so much. That's why y'all know me. I ain't got no time for that racial epithet stuff. If you're going to say the word cracker, I want to know that you got your own team. Not saying nothing about you, Brother Muhammad, because I don't know you, brother, or whatever, but I'm just saying in general, because they know who I am. I've been on this panel a few times, but it's just like, dude, if you're going to be talking all this racial epithet stuff, have a team ready to take them on. Don't have you and your homie that smoke weed together and you shoot at the flat range thinking y'all going to do something. You're not. You're really not. So I'll just leave it at that. I'll land the plane there, and thank you for listening to me.
All right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's cool. And only said, yo, quote unquote, deep undercover. Well, yo, salute to Bobby and salute to Raw in the building. You know what I'm saying? And I will be sure to nominate you for the Booker T. Washington Award. You know what I'm saying? For sure. You definitely fit that bill.
You know what? One thing I'll say about, because I just looked at a couple of comments, people like Sankara and Miss Vita, like stuff like that. Like, that's like, these comments don't help, you know? I'm trying to come here, help y'all. And the first thing I'll do, even though obviously I've said coonish things in the past, it's just like the first thing y'all think about to do is belittle me and not even try to take in what I said. And this is the problem we have as black folks.
Brother Forecast, I'm sorry for cutting. American Rifleman, please, we need to talk. I really enjoy what you're saying, and you look like you're younger than 60. You know, if you're not in your 60s, then of course you're in a separate age category than me. I don't know what age you are, but you definitely look a lot younger than I am. I would love to talk to you. So, Brother Forecast, if you can pass some of my information onto him, it'd be great to have you talk on a live stream with me, because we do have similar thoughts. Yeah. But I'll go ahead and pass the mic. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah. I would put his channel in the chat. Matter of fact, Bakari, I'll try to put everybody thing in the chat right now, because I'm gonna let y'all close. I'm sorry, Bakari, but I don't want to make it too long anyway. So
you good? Like I told you, man. You can keep you can keep going. Hey, MG2, I think I have First Rifleman. I ain't gonna say I think, I know I got his email. He don't respond that much. Yeah, but I got his email. I'll send it to you, MG2.
Okay, yeah, I just want to let him know that I say cracker every day. I say it like Paul Mooney said, to keep my teeth clean. I'm a member of so many different prepping societies, survivalist societies. I have lots of in Telegram as well as email, a lot of white nationalists that I definitely get a lot of information from, as well as Hispanic nationalists and some Asian nationalists, especially up in Seattle. There's a lot of really good information, and they all have heat maps, not just the Peckerwoods. But yeah, it would be nice to definitely have a conversation with you there, American Rifleman. And I'll pass the mic.
And I'd just like to comment real quickly, brother American Rifleman. Yeah, me too. I use cracker all the time. That's just my normal everyday language. That's just how I am. But no, I believe in everything that you said. My philosophy as Black First, we have to take over, so I do believe in taking over cities. We do that by the electoral process. We get it, we convert, we prepare, we grow our own foods. We do these things that's necessary, because there will be a fight. And so we believe in preparing for that fight. We believe in training. We believe in doing all of these things that's necessary. We believe in having our own hospital. So when you get injured, you got to have a place of your own that you can go to, because you damn sure can't go to the enemy and think that they're going to take care of you. So you got to have these things. So yes, You know, I'll say cracker 1,000 times, but trust and believe. Brother Muhammad is working on plans. B1 is out here working, doing these things necessary so that when that day comes, yeah, you got a spot that if you can make it there, we got you. And we've already, you know, this is just who we are. This is what we do. So it's a great this is my first time meeting you, your first time meeting me. But we have a lot in common and we can definitely build, my brother.
Well, hopefully, because I say a lot of coonish stuff to everybody on the panel. So I don't know if they told you about me already.
A lot of coonish stuff.
Well, I haven't heard any of it yet. So
yeah, a lot of coonish stuff. But see, look at his name. Is not Africa's first rifleman, but he calls himself a Pan African. But I'll just, but it is the truth. I'm just saying, But that's a part of Blaxploitation at the end of the day, and I feel what y'all saying. So I'm gonna let Shanique go ahead and MG2 fell off. Shanique, all right. Shanique, you want to say something? We go close out.
Okay. Yeah. In the closing out, you know what? It never ceases. Every time I'm on one of your shows, I am edified, and everyone here on this show has edified me, including the self-professed coon. And I don't call you a coon. I really feel like I learned a lot from you as well. There's so much to be learned when you get around people who have a mindset and a focus. And maybe sometimes you're misunderstood, or you say some things that we wouldn't say the way we wouldn't say them. But at the end of the day, you're doing your preparation. This is the thing that I appreciate. It's nothing to be slept on. And I think that we sleep on a lot of the people in inner city, a lot of the people who aren't at the level of either education or self-awareness or any of the things that we feel are necessary at the given time, and they are necessary, but we sleep on them because we think, oh, they're just destroying their lives, they're just dying, and we don't recognize that maybe they're misunderstood. So if we could all reach out in some way whenever we come in contact with someone who is misguided or who is not necessarily on target for what is war, which is currently, as was brought out, it's going on right now. It has been in the past. It's just a different kind of war, maybe a little less overt, but I can't even say that because it's pretty overt to me. But for those who don't see, it's very much war going on. And there are a lot of people in inner cities who clearly know war because they're fighting one another. They're fighting people for no reason. They're fighting people over streets, blocks, corners. So we're reaching out for some kind of sovereignty, but we're not fighting the right people. So, or the right things, if you take my approach, because I think it's physical and spiritual, and that's just how I feel. So we all have to come to a consensus where we're able to reach someone and bring them to the mindset that they have to direct their fight and not strive and blow at the wind, that they have to actually blow at something. And I believe that women have to be a little more subtle than men. And so I am more subtle. So you probably will never hear me call anyone a cracker, but I don't sleep on the craftiness and the subtleness that exists within them. And I recognize that there are times where you will have one be kind to you and help you and go on. And don't think that in the end of the road that they may very well bite you in the back of your neck and suck a pint of blood out, because it can very much be the thing that happens. So training is important. I agree with that. And I've been inspired by you guys to think more on that, to talk about doing things with my own family and those in my realm that I can. Sadly, I'm not surrounded by a lot of people that look like me. And I also do not, the very few that I have to do a different approach, because they are not ones that think that there's even a war happening. So not everybody is awoke. And I don't mean how all the things are woke, but awakened to the idea that we are fighting a struggle, and that there can, as a movie I used to watch, Highlander, there can only be one. And that one is us. And we have to fight for it. And there will be a lot of blood. There'll be a lot of battle, but it will happen. And I have full faith that with brothers like you, with the mindset and the desire to do it, that it'll come across and it'll happen. We all have to get our minds directed, though. So I appreciate you guys and thank you. And I yield.
Yeah, definitely. And before I give it to you, Bakari, and Sankara was like, yo, it's a joke until we all up the river. And I'm not even saying that it is a joke, but if you understand that they're going to sell you, why not, that they're going to be there. Listen, pay attention, and get information. Everything is there to be used, like not to be, let it use you, you use it, you know what I'm saying? And you gonna learn different things from different, you know what I'm saying, but it's what you're using it for, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, like but yo, my bad, but go ahead, Bakari.
Yeah, everybody keep going. He's the self confessed coon, whatever. But you know what? What MG2 said, we'll give him, because I ain't know nothing about the map. This is my thing, right? Like, I don't, and I think Rifleman know this. I don't dislike Rifleman. I understand, and Sankara is my brother. Me and him talk offline. So I'm not trying to go against either. But I think for me, something I say I've tried to learn, and if I'm wrong, you know, and I'm human, I make mistakes. But it was like something what Shanique just said, right? Something I believe we have to learn to do. We have to understand. We have to start understanding the plight of our people in this country and everything that we have gone through, right? So if we don't understand the plight of what our people have gone through and what we go through, we'll never accept and we'll never respect one another, you know. So even me, before I close out, I already said this, like when I was talking and I said, ain't nobody gonna crack no sky and come down. See, Shanique is a Hebrew Christian, like whatever they want to call it. I don't get into people's face. But I wasn't saying that to insult Shanique, so I want to apologize if it was. Or when I said something about a donkey and all that, that Muslim thing, I wasn't saying that to insult nobody. I'm saying that because your faith is supposed to make you stronger and make you want to fight. That's the reality, right? Whatever it is our faith is, it's supposed to be in us. So if I look at my sister because she have a religion that I'm not a part of, or I look at Maurice, my brother, and he got a religion I'm not a part of, and I turn my back on them, the conditioning, and this is something, when Maurice them, they were doing a show the other day, this is something we were talking about, but this is me. I ain't telling nobody else to think about me. That means the conditioning that white people have done. If I can turn around and get mad at someone because they have not made it to where I am, everybody is raised different. Everybody came up different. Everybody didn't have parents that was in the civil rights movement. It took me a long time to get to this point. I had friends to have to teach me that. So for me, if Rifleman sell us up the river, Sankara, I apologize to you for allowing, but I promise you, Sankara, I would not let you get on that boat. If he sell, because you my brother. So if he sell us up the river, I'm gonna make sure you ain't on that boat going up the river. You'll be protected. I might be on the boat, but you'll be safe. Because if we gonna make it through this thing, look up this thing on Netflix called They Clone Tyrone. If you gonna make it through this thing, to people who ain't like us, we don't think like us, the only difference between a lot of our people and us, ain't nobody taught them. Just like when he said him and MG2 was just talking about some type of maps. I don't know what those maps are. I never heard of them. Don't mean I can't learn how to use them, but I don't know what they are because ain't nobody taught me. Just like when I said, do y'all know how much electricity you can get from a marine battery if your power go out? Do you know you can run microwaves and lamps and charge your phones or your computer or what you need from a marine battery? And how many hours? Don't mean you're dumb. Just ain't nobody taught you. So when we look at our people and they're acting a certain way, and I'm not even saying all of them, but if we look at our people and they're acting a certain way, and if we know all this information, why should we turn our back on them? Because if you turning your back on somebody that could be a real brother to you or could be a real sister to you. So the first thing you want to try to do is talk and get to know. Sankara, feel how he feel about First Rifleman. And me and Sankara, we brothers. That's them, whatever it is. I ain't in that. But then it go on town. My street dudes, when I say I get out here and I talk to some of the young folk, if I look at them a certain way and gonna turn my back and say, they acting like N-words. That's all they are. That means that condition that I complain about. The condition of what people call white supremacy, because I don't use that term, but the condition that people call white supremacy, it's coming out of me now. Because I see them, ain't nobody taught them. They should know. They don't know if ain't nobody taught them. So if we turn our back because somebody sees something a little bit different, you still my brother. Man, you can meet some black folks here where I live, up the street from where I live. If I put them on the phone to you, you will think you're talking to a tobacco spitting redneck until you see them. And if you hear them talk, you must hear them talk about the stuff that they like to do, the way they like to hunt, the way they go mudding, and all the stuff they do. You just hear them, you're going to think you're talking to one of them tobacco-ridden rednecks that ain't with you. But then you get to know them brothers. You're like, damn, they got a whole artillery up in here. And he must 100% black. And I ain't just talking about their race and their skin. I'm talking about they black first. So for me, we got to stop looking at our people all the time because they're a little different and ain't nobody taught them. If we got the knowledge and we know, like we want to teach, what's this? Who is this? Who is this forecast? What's up, God? Who is that forecast? But they ain't peace, God. Who is that forecast? But they ain't pro-black. But don't nobody say nothing about them. They ain't pro-black, but they gonna go out there and say, I ain't pro-black. It's for us to teach everybody. See, the nation of gods and earth can go teach everybody. Don't nobody have no problem with that. But we got a problem with going to teach our people. If we truly pro-black, we can't turn our back on our black people. I'm just saying, does that mean all of them gonna come? All of them not gonna come, but everybody will come. And what I mean by everybody will come, everybody that want to be with you, that's the everybody that we need. And on that note, I yield the mic.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I'll say this real quick, and then I'll pass it to MD2, right? And what I'm saying is, like, even with what he said, because I tell you all the time, and that's why the stuff I show you as considerate, like, you know, have your candy bar with extra peanuts, you know what I'm saying? And learning defensive skills, you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to take knowledge and listen to the parts where he's telling you, like, oh yeah, I'd be around them, they're arming themselves, you know what I'm saying? They're doing this and that. Like, not necessarily be like, well, you know, come on in or nothing like that, or, you know, whatever you're saying, like, but, you know, take the information that you hear from whenever you hear it, you know what I'm saying? And as far as, like, I don't know where we've been for like 6,000 years. Like, if we think that they're just about to start turning up, like, I mean, damn, what was happening in 1723 if they just turning up now? Like, but MD2, go ahead.
Yeah, basically, one of the things when American Rifleman was talking about heat maps, some of you guys are way too young to know this, but in the mid 80s,
excuse me, MD2, what kind of map?
Heat maps. Basically, what, you know, a lot of these organizations, and this is nothing new. In the 80s, there was a lot of white nationalism, you know, when Alan Berg got killed and some of the other ones, you know, they had a thing called that they were against ZOG, Zionist organization or whatever, you know, and they killed the radio host Alan Berg, who was a smallhead. This happened in the late 80s. And what had happened is you had like it was right before the Randy Weaver thing and stuff that was going on, because that happened in the 90s. Basically, you had white nationalists were having, basically, now they call them heat maps. So these are just areas where power stations are, reservoirs are, supermarkets are, health clinics are, police stations are. Because when you're fighting a war, you know, this basically, those are, you know, you'll know what are soft and what are hard targets, but irrespective, the common denominator is a target or a resource, you know, things that you might need. Think of it as like The Walking Dead, you know, and, you know, you need to know where the pharmacies are at. You need to know where the reservoirs or where the gas stations and other things are at. And a lot of these white nationalists were doing that back in the 80s. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar. There was an incident that happened kind of just a few years back. And a white nationalist got in a lot of trouble because he had killed one of his own, but they found that he had maps of everything. A really good story that, you know, they did a lot of the true crime is out talking about it now, but it was a guy who was head of the white nationalist organization. The thing that really got them after him was not the fact that he killed one of his own. It was the fact that they found out that he had mapped out the infrastructure of everything that, you know, think of these quote unquote heat maps are the things that you need on a daily basis. Energy, you know, the things you should be prepping for. Security, i.e. gun stores, stuff like that, you know, munitions. Health, which means pharmacies, health centers, and it also encompasses food, energy, not just the fact that, you know, gas, like natural gas and plants like that, water, stuff like that, but also not only the things you put in your car, but also where are the best lithium batteries, where are the best, you know, whether you're going lead or lithium for your because I heard you talk about marine batteries for quite some time. And I remember Sister Cassandra was doing a lot of things with her. You know, she had things that she was selling in energy devices. You know, I think they were like pocket size, but also energy that you need in terms of candles, fire, stuff like that. I mean, nobody can do in this world without energy. But these heat maps are they're not just one thing of, okay, we're just going to tell you where all the supermarkets are. It encompasses everything that you're going to need in a WROL type of existence. For those who don't know what that is, that's like SHTF. Without, you know, the SHTF, you know, things hitting the fan, or WROL is without rule of law. So those are the things that you want to make sure that you have. You also want to know where disposals, like when you have those heat maps, you got to know where all the sanitation. Also, you're going to know where dumps are at, you know, where sewers are at, because that's where a lot of diseases are, as well as a lot of hideouts. If you remember what happened in 1940s, when, you know, England was being bombed, a lot of the folks, their citizens, went down into the sewers. They just couldn't go to any sewer. They had to know exactly which ones were more applicable to not get diseases, which were safe. So that's part of you know, of what folks were doing back in the 80s, because they were planning this stuff in the late 70s. I remember it very well. And so what we're seeing now is, because of the age of information, we're now seeing it as something that's new. It's not new. This has been going on forever. It's just that we, as African, as Black folks, have a late start, because we've been believing in this assimilationist, liberal, socialist, you know, kumbaya mentality, and not being is, you know, real conservative. And I'm not talking politically conservative. I'm talking about conserving resources, conserving our information. You know, everybody wants to be a hip hop star instead of learning how to go ahead and use a rifle. So the thing is, and if they do use a rifle, it's usually an automatic weapon against each other. You know, they don't know what a TAR-21 sniper rifle can do, but they'll know exactly what, you know, what a Glock can do to their friend. So the thing is it's like a lot of what's going on in, you know, in the terms of these heat maps is just now we're just apprised to something that's been going on forever. And where I'm at, they've got like back in the 90s, you know, when they had riots and stuff like that, LA police were literally, I mean, they literally mapped out every little thing. They have little underground things that were, you know, like military vehicles that were coming out of the areas where you thought there was a sewer, and they could come in and squelch a rebellion in seconds. But if you're going to fight something, it's to be cognizant that actually exists. There's a lot of things that a lot of our folks don't necessarily, on the surface, we watch social media, but underneath the surface, if you go to Telegram, you're going to get more, or not just Telegram. I mean, you could go to Rockfin, Locals, you could go to anything, and you'll find out, not just Rumble, that's the over the surface. But if you go in the dark web or the deep web, you don't even have to go in the dark web. You go in the deep web, you're going to really figure it out that, yes, it's not just an underground movement. This is a way of life for many, a way of life of prepping, not just prepping in terms of food and energy. How many folks have at least 3 weeks worth of water? The rule of threes. If you can't survive the rule of threes, three minutes without air, 3 minutes without air, 3 days?
Hold on. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, and 3 months without food.
Yes, that's the rule of threes. A lot of our folk don't realize that's, if you don't have, like I've got over 100 gallons of water that I circulate every week. Okay, I'm blind and I still do that. I make sure that I do that. I have, you know, of course, MREs. I have, and thanks to Sister Cassandra, it really kind of inspired me to even get more in terms of my energy. You talk about lithium battery, marine batteries. There are so many different ways. You get an inverter and a battery, you're halfway there to going ahead and having your own power center. You know, just knowing how many hundreds of watt hours. You want 2,400 watt hours, 1,200 watt hours. You know, the watt hours are what, you know, will either run your air conditioner or your refrigerator. Just knowing what the compatibility for surge, just in case, you know, it surges over a certain amount, it will not destroy your battery. You can go lithium, you can go there, and there are already kits that are already made, so you don't have to like actually make it from the start. But there's a lot of ways. That's just part of it. Do you have good sanitation or things to get rid of sanitation? Cholera is a big thing. If you're not, you know, hip to the fact that if your water supply is not good and there's not good sewage, it'll be like what happened in Haiti. Cholera is going to be your cousin. So the thing is, it's a lot of our folk don't realize that this is how these preppers and these white nationalists and every nationalist, I mean, everybody's doing that. And a lot of that came in after 2007 and everybody thought the world was going to collapse. You'll be surprised that a lot of bankers or former bankers are the ones at the head of a lot of these white nationalist prepping and survivalist organizations, which I belong to many of them. The thing is believing in the Cornel West, to bring it back to the Cornel West scenario. Cornel West and those assimilationists have done a lot for us. They're doing a lot for us, not the way you think. I mean, that's why I say I praise him. He's doing so much for us. The thing is, I'm not looking for someone to do something for me. I'm looking for someone that I can make him do what I want. A lot of us talk about that politician and that guy, they're not doing things for black folk or whatever. No, I don't care what they're doing for whoever it is. They got to do what I want them to do. Okay, and that's, in other words, a Booker T, Marcus Garvey mentality. I'm not looking for someone to do something for me. I'm looking for someone to be my pet dog and do exactly what my pet dog is supposed to do. The thing is, the white nationalists and everybody else think that way. They act that way. It doesn't matter who's in office. They're going to make them do their bidding. The thing about Cornel West, he's doing so much for us. We would not have this conversation touting the lack of benefits, for lack of a better term. In other words, we would not be calling him corny if we knew that he was not an advantage. Here's what I mean. He gave us the advantage of knowing that he is not beneficial to us in his present form, and probably in his future form. And definitely he wasn't beneficial to us in his past form. So just that alone, he's apprised us to make sure that we get our prepping together, to make sure that whoever we get, whoever they have, running so-called government, we're going to make them do our bidding and not look what they can do for us. No, they're going to do what we want, whether they can do for us or not. They're going to do our bidding. It apprised us to say, oh, we're going to get our children to be more educated and not indoctrinated. It apprised us to know coming from Brother Muhammad that, yes, these Trumps are at war. They've been prepped forever. So what? I don't care. I'm glad they're at war because they inspired me to say, I'm going to outdo them. This is a chess game for life. It inspired us. Cornel West inspired us to listen to Brother American Rifleman to say, hey, wait a minute. Irrespective of it, and I've listened to you before, American Rifleman, on this forum. Irrespective of folks call it coonish. Shoot, I say all kinds of stuff. Folks think I say coonish. I don't care what it is. My thing is this young brother is effective, and that's what matters. And that's what Cornel West did. He brought in us the ability for us to say, wait a minute. We know that he's not beneficial, hasn't been, and probably won't be. But at least he's got us thinking, hey, wait a minute. Because of him, he's made us more active, more proactive, and more beneficial to learn things like Sister Shanique was talking about in terms of education. So yes, I praise Cornel West, and I hope he goes far. Because every step he makes in the direction we know that's not going to help us is going to make us stronger to do everything against not only him, but those other peckerwoods and crackers that are definitely against us. I'll pass the mic.
All right. And I let my brother Maurice Muhammad get in there. Go ahead, my brother.
Thank you, beloved. It's excellent to be able to listen to everybody and hear everybody's viewpoint, because I really believe we're on the same level. We're speaking the same language. One thing that I also want to zoom in on is that we have to manufacture consent, because our message is right. Our message is on point. It is this message that our people need in order to make them change over their mentality from the way it is now. I close every program that we do with, you kill the nigga in you, I'm going to kill the nigga in me, and our God will reign supreme. We are Black first. See, it's that process that we have to go through to kill that nigga that's in us, because it's the nigga that's in us that's having us do things that we should never be doing. And so that's a process that must be undergirded. And it's a process that we can't run away from, because the way that the enemy has made us makes us unfit for the service of ourselves. So that's something that we have to make sure we see, we understand, we point out, and we begin this process of change. Our message is a very unique message, meaning you're not going to hear Cornel West. You're not going to hear Tim Scott. You're not going to hear none of these people that went to the cracker schools and got the cracker degrees, that love the enemy, You won't hear them say any of this stuff that we're saying. You won't, because their mentality is, their mindset is, we got to protect Massa so that Massa can go on. They don't have another idea besides what they're looking at right now. And so us that have another idea besides what we're living at right now, we understand the process of change and the real process of revolution. America is dying as we speak. And when America, the final heartbeat bounces, then the scramble really gonna take place. And where will we be if we're not propagating this kind of a message for our people? I tell them all the time, when the time of decision happens and you facing that cracker, don't blink. If it means you gotta kill them, kill them. Why do you keep repeating this message? Because you gotta be able to understand and know aware of the time and what must be done. But you ain't gonna know the time and you ain't gonna know what must be done if you're not listening, if the message is not getting out there. That's why it's so important, the thing that we do. Manufacturing consent so our people will understand that this ain't a game, this is real life. You done seen what the talented 10th have produced. So the question has to be, are you happy with it? Do you really fulfill that you're fulfilling your purpose in this life? With the way things are? It's time for a change. And I thank you, dear brothers. I rest my mic.
Yeah, definitely. Salute, Buwana. All right, First Rifleman, go ahead.
I'm gonna try not to be too long, man. You Nation of Islam brothers just be giving them rousing ass speeches. Man, golly, man. Anyway, but I want to add a little bit to what MG2 was saying, just to impart a little bit more information, and I'm done after that. I don't know if Brother Bakari is still going to move over to his channel, but anyway, I'll add on to the small hat in Denver that got killed. The group who did that was called The Order. They were kind of a offshoot from other white nationalist groups that weren't as radical, and they were in I don't remember the actual group, but it was another group that was bigger that kind of splintered off and all that, and they kind of a lot of younger, more radical white nationalists formed a group, and they're about that action, and they took action. So I would say also too, after that happened, authorities did, there were other acts of violence like in Portland and all that stuff, where that Ethiopian student was killed. They still talk about it today because I live in the Portland area, so they always talk about it all day. And they actually used it as justification for BLM to burn stuff, but that's a story for another day. The situation with Randy Weaver was called Ruby Ridge. And Ruby Ridge was a very big vocal point when it comes to militias and their hatred of the Clintons. A lot of conservative or nationalists, not even just white now. You don't have to be a white nationalist not to, because there's a whole bunch of white people, y'all can disagree with me, that dislike the government just because of that one act, because they were just like, oh, it violates the Constitution and all that other stuff. So and the government was dead wrong in what they did, whether you like Randy Weaver or not. It was just a pure violation of their rights, and those people were murdered. So and then on top of that, then you had Waco. Obviously a lot of black people know that one because that was televised a lot, and a lot of black people remember Waco. And even in that situation, they don't particularly like David Koresh because there's no consensus on whether David Koresh was good or bad. There is a consensus on how evil, once again, the Clintons are, and they're gonna, Democrats or mostly Democrats or the government is gonna take your rights away and say, oh, you got too many naughty guns, so we're gonna go in guns blazing and kill your family. And so a lot of them kind of invoke those two clashes with the government or whatever you want to call them. So they use that for a lot of fuel and propaganda for what they want. And I'm telling you now, most of it's not even for like racist white. It's like a lot of white people that just don't trust the government. So you have to really remember, not everybody's doing it because they're like, you know, the darkies are taking over, whatever. It's really just a distrust and dislike of government, more than racial stuff. So just always, so if you're talking to somebody or you're trying to gather information, because one thing y'all know about me, y'all call me a coon and stuff, but I'm trying to make y'all into agents so you can gather information, or not agents, I would say an intelligence gatherer. So you can, instead of freaking out and getting all like, let's fight a cracker today, you can possibly pass yourself off as a friendly person. Well, hopefully you're a friendly person, but you get what I'm saying. Instead of creating conflict, you can use it as a opportunity to gather information, so you can bring that over back to Black folks and help them out. And it could be any small amount of information. That's what is called intelligence gathering. So just food for thought. So you can use those two situations to be like, yeah, like I remember what happened, Ruby Ridge. You know, use your imagination, go research the stuff, look it up. And you can, and I'm not trying to tell you to go out and get cracker friends, but what I'm saying is you can be a gray man. Look up gray man as well. If y'all would email me, I can help y'all out with this stuff, and y'all would know, because there's a lot of lingo. It's a lifestyle, so you'll start learning lingo and all that stuff. Try not to ramble. Last thing I'll say is MG2 was talking about energy sources. Another thing I want y'all to do, obviously, get the marine batteries, look into generators, kerosene generators, or generators that take different, there's some generators that take different, they take kerosene, some take natural gas. So just do some research on generators. And you can also get an inverter, solar panels. So look into all those other sources of energy that you can use for your family. And once you do that, another thing a lot of people, and this is the advance, that's why y'all need to get in step one. This is how important this is, because once you get to step one, then you're going to have to learn about the security of these devices and the physical security of these devices. Because if you're out in the middle of Indian country, as they say, or you may be in a hostile environment with your family where there's no cops, no help, no nothing, or maybe a small enclave of Black people, and there could be outside forces looking to take stuff. It doesn't have to really be because you're Black, but it is just because there's marauding people, marauders, midnight marauders, you know, shout out to Tribe Called Quest, that want to go out and just take what you have, and they will kill you and your family and won't think twice about it. So they'll send up a drone, or they'll be on a mountaintop or something where they can see the glint from your solar panels, or they can hear your generator or something like that. So once you get to step one, you can learn how to make those devices less visible and audible, so you can still use these devices and still have a level of security. So that's what I'm saying. You have to get on step one before you get step 2 and 3. And it gets more advanced, but that's just more of the capability and skill set you have to survive and pass that on to other people. And with that, I guess I'll yield the mic.
All right. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Can I say one thing right quick? Can I say one thing right quick, okay?
Yeah. I was about to say, if y'all spoke y'all piece, go ahead, Bukari.
I got one thing I want to say real quick. So I want folks to remember this. I don't see the shows, I done talked about it, right? This for the people that believe in the boule and all that, right? And who follow Steve Coakley. I want y'all to remember something. What did Steve Coakley say? I played it on my channel about 4 times, but I'm gonna say it again. If you meet a brother and that brother is only 60% brother, get 59% from him. Now, I don't think he should have to say, if he 40%, get 39%. And I think what he was saying is, if your brother got something that you can use, use it. That's how I take that. I don't know, for people who looking at, you know, we can't do this, he's this way. Or they part of this organization, or they part of that organization. But do that brother have something, or that sister have something that we can use? Don't run people off, at least before you get what you can use from. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, that's what Steve Coakley said now. For people that like Steve Coakley, that's what Steve Coakley said. I have the same sentiment, but I use him because people like him a little bit more than they like me. But I'm just saying, don't run the brothers and sisters off before you can get what you can use from it. That's it. Hey, man, by the way, now,
I
man,
see the comments. I see the comments.
I ain't going live, man. You know, I was gonna go live the same time you was forecast. It done got late. I told you you can stay.
I'm sorry,
I told you you can stay on here because no, you cool, forecast. You can stay on here. I'll do mine tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. What's up? So do y'all got y'all? It said y'all piece anyway though.
Yeah, I have, unless anybody wants to stay on, or I don't know what you're trying to do forecast, but I'll put my email. I consult, on almost everything you can think of. And it's, I do it because I care about Black people in America. I'm not doing this to get rich or whatever. I genuinely, like, I don't watch TV. I don't watch Love and Hip Hop. I come here and try to learn from Black people. I try to learn about Africa and all that stuff. So that's why I'm here. So any other motive you think I have, or I'm an agent, or I'm this, I'm that, you can go ahead and do that. But if you actually would seek out my services, I've actually helped a lot of people. I've helped black women in my local area learn how to shoot. So, no crazy white man can run up on them and take what they have or try to take their life, So I just keep it simple. So y'all just need to think of me as a simple veteran. That's it, man. I'm just trying to do a service to my people.
American First Rifleman, you're a valuable asset. Okay, I mean extremely valuable. And
most Black people don't think so.
Well, they don't think that about me either. I piss off Black people every day. I call us chimps. They hate that, but I don't care because they know that I have the key to their economic freedom, or at least I'm trying to. So the thing is irrespective. I value your skill tremendously, Brother Bakari. I always value your skill. I value skill that folks bring to the table. Because, like Brother Bakari said, hey, if I only got 45% of what you guys need, especially when I'm trading markets and stuff, if you don't grab 44.5 of that 45%, then that's your problem, not mine. I tell you to grab everything I can that I got. Grab it, use it, and do better than I did with what I got. Because it's so important that everybody's got resource here, without a doubt. All I have to do is, I can't thank you guys enough. Brother Forecast, I'm going to be thanking you endlessly. The thing is it's beautiful what Cornel West, and just the idea that he exists, made us start to think realistically, not about Love and Hip Hop, not about gender wars, not about FBAs or whatever, not about this nonsense. We start thinking about competing against other folks. As good brother American Rifleman said, they're like 4, 5, 6 steps ahead. It's not like we can't. I mean, we're the fastest runners in the world, so all we got to do is just get on the track and start running. So it's not like we can't. American First Riflemen, to get a little bit more cognizant of what happened to Africans in slavery, there's a program called Kebuka, Kebuka. It's done from Walamuke Baruti. He does it every year for the children. He's been doing it for, like, I guess, going on 20 some years. And that'll give you more than you'll ever probably even know what happened to us as Black folks, and the talents we have, the resilience we have, the mentality, the skills like yourself that we have, the inspiration like Brother Muhammad and Shanique are giving us. You're going to get like a crash course in what happened to us. That's why, hey, they could call me coon, they could call me whatever else, American Rifleman, but all I know is don't call me late for dinner, and damn it, if you don't take what I got, then it's your problem. I'll pass the mic.
All right. Shanique, you wanted to say something too?
Simply that this show has been the most inspirational and educational show to date for me. Brother Muhammad, and I'm not Muslim, but that was rousing, and that it brought me to tears, because I really feel like we're here for a reason. This is not a random reason that we're all including, and definitely including, America's First Rifleman. We're all here because there's a skill set that you all have, and there's something that someone out there needed to hear all of us and get everything and extract it, like was said, and glean what they can from us. And so I've gleaned what I could from you guys. I'm always getting that from you, Forecast, because most of the time I wouldn't be listening or thinking on the levels that I am. I'm kind of somewhere else with it. I have children. I'm somewhat distracted, but a lot of people are distracted. And the fact that this show brought together all these great minds to focus on the idea that we have to get, lack of a better term, get our shit together and really do what is needed. And what's needed is to be focus, to prepare. I put these bullet points for myself: to educate, to organize, and then to propagate these ideas and proliferate them. I feel like that's important. And I was taking notes because I really want to be an asset to my race. And I know that sounds crazy, but I really want to be. It sounds crazy because people don't look at it like that anymore. They feel like, oh, we want to be an asset to everyone. No, because I'm the one that matters to the people in my family, and you guys are my family, and I'm thankful for you guys. I'm glad I caught this show. I was looking forward to Bakari, but I will be there tomorrow. I'm gonna set an alarm. Thank you so much, and I yield.
Yeah, hey yo, let me say this real quick too, Shanique. Y'all, I appreciate that, and well, I kind of don't like calling, like, not saying it for you, but like for me, I'd be like, I don't even say show. I'd be like, yo, it's just a live, because I don't think this is the show. You know what I'm saying? It's just us going live, talking and stuff like that. Brother Muhammad, everybody else said something. You good, my brother?
Thank you, beloved. I just want to say thank you to the panel. Thank you to you. Thank you for everybody in the chat. There was excellent information shared. I really would like for us to continue to work together to propagate this message that must go out, because we learn from each one. And I was blessed by everybody on the platform and everybody in the chat. Glad to be here. Thank you, brother, for bringing us all together. And I'll listen.
Hey, okay, wait a minute. Val Drip laughed at me. First, he took a shot. Now, second, he took a shot. Intelligence ain't my best friend. Don't bother me, because what I said about American First, right? About get what you can from your brother. But he told me, I told him, I couldn't make an air condition. The people that follow my channel, they have seen why I made a homemade air condition for my dump truck. And I tell you how to do it, Val Drip. Get your ice chest. Get your 2 bags of ice. Well, wait to get the ice last. Get your ice chest. Get your drill with the bit about 6 inches. Get you a 12-volt battery. Get you a 12-volt battery. Get you one of those. Get you a fan that blow certain RPMs real hard. Put it in the hole. Once you put the fan in, you drill the hole with the side you want your air to come out of. Same thing. Get your 2 PVC pipes, put in that hole, tape it. Once everything dry, your fan, your 12-volt, but you get your ice, put in there. Hook your fan up to your 12-volt battery, and you're going to blow snowballs. I just want to let you know, everybody who saw my channel, my dump truck was 9,000 degrees. I made my homemade air conditioner. It got down to 100. I just wanted to tell you how to do it, Val Drip.
Brother Bakari, I wanted to tell you one more thing too, because on the program, and I didn't get a chance to say it, but your comments are always welcome, because that's how we learn, by making the comments, even if it's disagreeable with something somebody else said, we still hash it out and we still learn. So always, say what you got to say, make your comments, and never regret it, because it's all good. It's all good. And, we look forward to having you on the program with the doc and I. Really coming up soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, no problem. I ain't think you had no problem with it. I didn't think you had no problem with it. But me, I just try to, if I think I offended someone, because I'm not trying to offend nobody, right? So I'll just go ahead and say, my bad, I wasn't trying to offend you. But no, I didn't think I had bothered you. That's why I come back and I say certain things. I don't want to talk about nobody's spiritual system or none of that. Your spiritual system make y'all strong. It makes Shanique is who she is. It make her speak the way she speak, because she's strong. So I can't knock that.
Oh man, before we start saying kumbaya, let me get out of here. Yo,
saying kumbaya with each other.
We start holding hands. Oh my goodness. All right, yo, shouts out to Black Megas in the building. Y'all, thank you for coming through, right? I was showed, just because he showed me the this, I didn't want to put your IG out there, because he showed some good things about that. So I did show that brother Andre Longmore that she was telling me about, the veteran that went crazy and took out these fools here. So y'all subscribe to Black Megas the IG, so It's just a little bit. I'm gonna stop it real quick because before I show him, you know.
What's the Expo?
All right, so I just wanted to play a little bit of that. Y'all subscribe to his channel, Black Family Vanguard, you know. So I wanted to definitely play that. But yo, I appreciate all of y'all for coming through. You know what I'm saying? For coming on here. Bukhari, Shanique, MD2, First Rifleman, my brother Maurice Muhammad, you know, thank y'all for coming through. And you know what? I'm going to let this be the last words for today. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Roth for putting me onto this song, but this is the last words for today.
Excuse us, sir. My colleague and I are here to conduct an inquiry. May we ask you a few questions?
Yes, please, Master. I'm at your disposal.
You're here, as it were, to be sold.
Of course.
We are truly appalled, sir. We can imagine how you must feel, your fear, your indignation.
On the contrary, why, in my career, I have always been very lucky. I've had masters, each one more humane than the next.
But haven't you ever been treated brutally, whipped, beaten, tortured?
In our profession, what counts is to do one's duty. Don't listen to all those stories about the various Uncle Toms and Simon Legrees and so on. It's all nonsense. See, the truth is that we are valuable merchandise. And have you seen the prices in the market? I know it. I cost more than $2,000. And can you imagine a fool, excuse the expression, a fool of a master who would whip and maim a capital of over $2,000? No! If a slave is a respectable slave, his master treats him with kid gloves because it takes only one scar, one single scar, and plop, down shoots the price. You know, the client is suspicious.
But, sir, surely you must realize the injustice of your situation, the violation of your liberty, your freedom.
If you speak of freedom, sir, I must tell you something. I am a worker, and workers are not free and never will be. If you speak of my condition, I will quickly say, I don't pay taxes. I'm housed, fed, and clothed by my employer. I work a short week. My medical care is free. I get a Christmas bonus and retirement or permanent disability at the expense of my employer, without mentioning this, that in time of war, I am not even obligated to military service.
Oh, but if you're not even paid.
You know, I see the ones which you gentlemen call freed slaves or liberated workers, out from morning till night, working like horses to make ends meet, and they never do. So, just tell me then, what's the difference between us slaves and liberated workers? Huh?
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Who, me?
Yes, you. You're a dishonor to your race.
Waving that camera around, will you?
Oh, man. All right. So, yo, shouts out to all of y'all, you know what I'm saying, for coming through. And that was, goodbye, Uncle Tom, you know. So, shouts out to Rob for letting me see that, you know. But I appreciate
that was hard to watch. I'm sorry. That was really hard to watch.
All right, yeah, that was just one scene from it. You know what I'm saying? That the whole movie is kind of tough to watch. I'm not gonna lie, even for me. Like, I watch the stuff in real life, but I appreciate y'all. So as always, man, we have got to start standing. And yo, by the way, my bad, Bukhari, too. You know what I'm saying? I know Bukhari got an important topic that he want to talk about. So as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're gonna keep falling for anything.